God, the yes God, the oh my God. Come on in the room. Come on in. You're so dumb. You caught the ghost that fast?
Yes, give me
that
the
means that
Holy
he
Ghost.
needed him.
The Holy Ghost. So we're waiting for
Hey
the
everybody,
people.
come on in, come on in. I am super uber excited about tonight for several reasons. You guys, I am a little skinny tonight. I'm looking at this phone in my face. It's like I need to eat a Whopper. I don't eat meat. I am elated to see all of my amazing Martian friends who stopped by, all of the beautiful, amazing people who have stopped by to hear this bomb necessary panel tonight. Shout out to BIGO. Shout out to everyone that's here and everyone who wanted me here tonight. Thank you.
We're just waiting for the people. We're waiting for the people.
Waiting for the people. Party people. Come on. Mm-hmm. I want to read the comments because I have to ask some questions really fast.
Do your thing, and then I'll just.
Hi. Will I make a name badge for us? What's that? What's a name badge?
Oh, when you start your family.
Oh, that's happening. This is this is Shy, everybody. Shy's on BIGO as well, but he's so amazing, such an amazing friend.
Oh, thank you, boo.
We have a lot of things that's happening in the works together, and a lot of BIGO things that's happening with Shy and I. And we are currently in Dallas, Texas. We are here for the amazing Black Gay Pride. And what club are we at tonight?
Chocolate.
That's fitting. So y'all stop by Chocolate tonight. You know, we're going to be extending all of the love.
The Black History
Month. And welcome to the Black History Month panel here on BIGO. Shout out to BIGO. Shout out to my agent, Jabari. I didn't forget your name. Y'all, it's been a long day.
A week.
Yes, it has. But guess what? We are here. So let me ask y'all a question. I just want to know. He is looking for people to bring up. Yes, we want to bring up our panel.
Yeah.
But while we're doing it, I want to know what y'all think about this beat because it was like a 15-minute beat. I just got off the plane.
Here. Go ahead, Nova. Nova Baby is one.
Yes, we're bringing up all of our amazing, amazing panelists for tonight. I'm so excited to meet you all. I just have one request. I just would love to see your faces tonight because I would love to put that brain behind the face and the talk behind the walk. Yes, you look amazing, Nova Babe. So excited.
Thank you, Tamara. So do you. I'm so happy to be here.
Glad to have you here tonight.
Thank you, love.
Excited tonight. Okay, so I'm having eyelash issues. I don't know if y'all ever had that before where your glue just will not stick.
No, all the time.
It's like insubordinate eyelash glue.
Oh, you look gorgeous, Tamar. You look amazing.
Oh, thank you, Mama. I'm telling you, it's a miracle because I did it 15 minutes ago. You know, y'all know how the contour just does not want to blend in right on some days. I don't have the time.
I feel you. I have one eye that won't dry.
Yeah, like this one right here. This eyelash here is causing me. That's okay. It's all for a great cause. I'm so excited, and I'm so grateful that I was even asked to participate in such an amazing, amazing Black History Month panel here on BIGO. And I'm just waiting for everyone to step in the room because we have some amazing things for you. Amazing topics.
Thank you.
Where everyone gets to have an opportunity to chime in and give their opinions and talk about how they feel about certain things, and you know, what's happening?
No, I'm just
Are we
writing
gonna
what
do this one at a time with all these boxes?
I know. That's why they were saying do all the boxes, but the people ain't coming in
So
on
let's
time.
just give everybody an opportunity. It's only 4 minutes after the hour.
Yes.
It's a Friday. It's traffic outside. We got makeup issues. We got lighting issues. And we all want to be lit for all the gods. The yes God, the face God, the oh my God. And let's just give an opportunity
How is
for
Dallas
everyone.
treating you?
Huh?
How is Dallas treating you?
Well, we just literally got here. Like literally got here. Like we was running upstairs so fast that the people here at the hotel forgot to swipe our credit cards.
Wow.
Yes, we got upstairs and it was like, hold up, wait a minute. My eyelashes causing me problems. This
I
thing
will
is
be right back.
okay. Yeah, I might. Can I come right back? Y'all gotta put my glue on my eyelash. That's not the
You can come
movement.
back. I'll keep it in the thing.
Okay.
So what we're doing now is we're waiting for the panelists to come up so Tamar can have the proper conversations about Black history. We want to bring up some of the most informal people about Black history and where we're at and where we're going. So I just want to make sure that we bring up all the right people that so we can have the proper discussions. You get what I'm saying? So we're waiting for some of the people to come into the queue, so we can have these good conversations. You know what I'm saying? So just be patient, and we will be right with you guys. Thank you guys for your patience. This old man. Because I would have it. Let's see if we can make this. Let's see, we're waiting. Okay. No.
You can tell she just came as a favor.
Let me.
I'm grateful for her because
There we go. We got my phone on. Okay, let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Could you talk about it so big?
any other let her know. Any money more.
Hey,
Hi.
hey,
How you doing? How
hi,
are you, darling?
hey. I'm doing great. How are you today?
I am excellente.
That's
We
amazing. I'm
are
so
going to be
excited.
inviting some more
Man.
people up, so we
Hello.
are going to get started.
Oh, thank
Who's
you.
Miss Thing right here? She's here.
Yes, she's the one.
Thank
Hi.
you.
I'm actually on for I think 5:30, but hi Tamar.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm excellent. How is everyone?
Hi, how are
Great.
you?
Hi.
I'm blessed and
Hello.
highly favored.
Yes,
She
yes.
invited Lisa. Yeah.
Well, listen, everybody. I am so glad you guys decided to join in on this marvelous evening of Black History Month and the Black History Month panel exclusively for BIGO. And we are all BIGO
Hold on,
members
Ginger.
on this
Hold
panel.
on.
And I am interested and excited to be.
I don't.
Hold on now. We're gonna mute y'all. Okay. No, I think you're only one.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna meet y'all in a second. I just want to, get the business out the way. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us on the Black History Month panel exclusively on BIGO. And I'm so excited. I'm your host, Tamara Braxton, and we are going to be talking about so many amazing, wonderful, important things tonight. And we have amazing guests, amazing panelists to join me. It's not all about me, it's all about you all. And for the first few minutes, I want to definitely talk about the history and impact of Black art, music, literature, and culture. Some of our guests has not made it in yet, but one of our guests definitely, ultimately has, in all of this beauty up here in this top corner to the left hand side, and that is it's Nova, babe. Hi, Mama Sita. Let me block you, not block you, unmute you for a second. She's a super educated African American, which I love. I love very smart Black people.
No.
And
Got a lot of shit.
are you from Canada? Or do you live in Canada now?
Wow.
We can't hear.
I think she muted
Fuck you,
herself.
man. She got game.
She muted herself. You're muted.
Okay, so Nova Babe, she is from Canada, and
Yes.
she grew up in a predominantly white area, and the wonderful opportunity that we have about her is wait a minute, what?
She wants to talk about mental.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The thing that we want to talk to her
No
about
worries.
tonight is her expertise on mental health and how that affects us when us Black people are raised in a predominantly white community, and how that affects us because it does affect us mentally, because we start to think certain things. So, Miss Nova Bay, would you like to speak about that tonight?
Oh, where do I start, Tamara?
I
First of all,
know.
good evening, everybody. All you beautiful Black people on the panel
God
tonight. What's up,
evening.
everybody?
God
So yeah,
evening.
that was my little piece. I don't know if I'm an expert on it, but I can speak from my heart and my
Babe, get a
experiences.
screenshot.
Growing up, I grew up in predominantly white areas. My parents are both. My dad is from Cote d'Ivoire, which is the Ivory Coast, and my mom is from Ghana. So I'm
Oh,
West African to the fullest.
yes.
And so growing up, when they immigrated to Canada, they really prided them. They really were proud to be in white
You got
areas,
to put
right?
your headphones
So
on
for
because if I
them,
start
they thought that
talking.
they were doing a good job in making sure that I grew up around a lot of white people, so I wouldn't feel inferior, right?
Yeah.
So there is positives to that, of course, right? So that when you're up against them in a job interview or in corporate settings, you don't feel inferior. I've always felt that they are my equal, right? But then on the flip side, though, how I was actually intimidated by other Black women and men for a lot of my life. I go to certain areas and there'd be more Black people there, and for some reason, I would feel like I didn't belong, or that they could see that I was whitewashed, which is a term I hate so much. Never call somebody whitewashed. Nobody wants to be white. Don't ever call us that. But so because I'd get branded as that, I felt very inferior against with my own kind, which was something that I had a bit of an identity crisis growing up. But it's something that I'm starting to work through, of course, the older I get. Oh, I'm glad that you guys can relate as well. There's people in the comments that can relate. Yeah, but to them, they thought they were doing a good job, right? But for example, like I can remember one time vividly coming home and saying I wanted to be white to my parents, and they didn't feel any pity for that. They were like, okay, like But to me, that's a terrible thing to have your little girl say, right? Because I wasn't proud of being black. I wasn't proud of who I was, you know? So that's my little piece.
So now let me ask you a couple of questions. What does whitewashed mean to you?
Okay,
What does that
so
term mean to you?
it's even the worst when a white person calls you it. But being whitewashed means that you're articulate, that you're well spoken, that you dress well, that you're educated, and it's sad because it shouldn't mean that. It shouldn't
No, it
mean.
shouldn't.
It's just but based on the way I would articulate myself or the way I would dress, I would be called whitewashed.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. So growing up in a predominantly white community, how has that affected your mental health as an African black woman?
Very insecure. I am 5'10".
Why insecure?
Oh, very,
Really?
very insecure. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm comfortable in my own mind. I'm comfortable in my own body. Growing up with white people, we're built different. It's just the genetics of being black and beautiful, right? We're built different. So I'm 5'10". I'm 165. I have, broad shoulders, strong arms, and I would always often feel because of the tone of my voice or because of my stature, I would often feel like I was too masculine as well as too dark. So it really had a lot to do. So excuse my language, but it really fucked me up, right? Growing up, I always felt inferior to everybody. I couldn't be with white people. I couldn't be with the black people. Yeah. And I'm not even mixed. I'm African, right?
Yeah.
So imagine being biracial.
So now in your adult life, let me ask you a question. What group of people do you feel most comfortable around? Because I can hear, I'm just going to keep it 1,000, right?
Please do.
Your accent is what some African Americans would call white. Or Valley Girl. I just had to, just break that little fourth wall because I have to keep it. I have to keep it 1,000, right?
Okay.
So, like, what group of people do you feel most comfortable in? Because as an African woman, I can imagine that at home, of course, it's black people, but as we hear your accent and we hear the way that you talk, it sounds like your friends or your group of people around you are predominantly white. So who do you feel more comfortable?
Tamar, I'm just a product of my environment, right? Yeah. So the way I speak is just because of who I've been around. I'm not going to change the way I speak just because I'm hanging out with a different type of people. So it's like, I do appreciate you keeping it 100, right? But that's actually to my detriment because then I go around black people and they're like, the fuck? Like, where are you from? And it's like, especially in Canada, it's really offensive in Canada because in Canada, we're so multicultural. So for somebody to say like, oh, you're whitewashed or you sound like this, and it's like an Indian person saying that or a black person or a Chinese person saying that, it blows my mind, right? If I was in the States, in America, maybe I would sound different, right? But I think my accent's Canadian.
No.
She's like, no.
I mean, you do kind of sound like Tanya on Housewives, so I can see
that. Please chime in. I feel like you have a lot to say.
So I definitely can relate to that being in high school. And what it really is when you're educated and when you speak differently, people see you differently. And it's sad that, and it's because we don't have enough examples as black people that actually articulate themselves in a way where it's not seeming odd to other people. So I definitely had that complex, but then I also had the complex when I went in the hood. They would tell me, you can't, hang with us talking like that. They're going to think you the police. So I had to, I can kind of bounce back in those spaces. I can sit at the table with, my white counterparts and blend in and be able to have conversations with them at the same time. I can hang out with my people in the hood and be able to vibe with them on the same level. So it's just about the versatility of it. So yeah.
And if I could just jump in, I think we have language for that now. They call it code switching, right?
Yes.
We didn't have that language when Nova was younger and when I was younger. So we thought, those of us who lived on that line, I too grew up within a predominantly white area. We grow up thinking something's wrong. And then you get to your corporate job in your 30s and you're like, oh, I just know how to turn it on and off. That's all. I know how to get this money and keep it turned on, you know what I'm saying, when I need to. And then when I go home, boom, we're going to sit, chill, sit back and talk how we talk. So it's code switching, right? But I think
do you feel like
language,
there was a pressure to suppress who you are?
Absolutely.
To be more recognized in the job space or to be more respected. So we can't talk Ebonics. We can't, use the language that we all, the language that we all use at home with our
Right.
friends? Do we feel that? What kind of pressure is it that you all experience?
Who are you gonna speak? Who are you gonna speak Ebonics with though? If everybody around you is white, you know what I mean. But
Well,
for me,
here's the thing. I don't feel like it's all about skin color. I feel like it's about culture, right?
fair,
It is.
fair.
And we can't put a race on culture. So when we hear Drake or when we hear Future, or Kodak Black or whoever it is, we don't put a color on that. It's more of a culture, right? So who's to say when we're speaking in the cultural language, right? Um, how do we get away from that, or how do we act like that's not who we are in the workspace? Why do you feel that kind of pressure? Why do you have to act like that's not your culture?
Number
Well, I think for me, I think
really quickly.
we
Number
know that
four.
it's culture and we're defining that as culture. But in corporate America and when dealing with white people, they call that talking black or hood.
Yes.
Right.
So, like, we can define that within our community and on this panel. But unfortunately, that's not the reality that we live in.
Hello,
So, in order to
everybody.
be successful,
Hi.
you have to code switch it. Oh, thank you for the dragon. Praise God. Hallelujah. But
Yes.
yeah,
One
like
of
I've been
I
waiting
mean,
on
Tamar,
this.
I'm
Praise
I'm blessed
Tamar,
God.
enough where I
Thank
work in the
you.
beauty world. So on the corporate side, so I present myself too, talking, proper white, but I can throw in some slang here or there or some gay talk, and they find it a kiki, and I can close the deal and get my client in
Facts.
Sephora.com. But
Thank
it's
you.
like they don't look at it as a culture thing. It's like they know that I'm that way because I just happen to be a black gay man.
y'all.
Mhm.
Oh,
I
Neil,
I
really
want
quick, Tamar, really quickly. If you could drop number 4 and bring Courtry up, he's waiting in the queue. Courtry is waiting in the queue, and number 4 hasn't said anything since we've been on the panel.
Oh,
So if we
that
can drop
Who's
number
calling
4
people
and bring
out tonight?
Courtry up.
they done snuck up here. They snuck up here. They snuck up here. They was
So everybody
She like, what
Latoya,
is
say,
she
they
got
talking
on. She got
about,
on.
y'all?
This is
She like, I'm here.
Right. She's like, I'm here for it all. She in the middle of
I'm
the
here for it.
conversation.
She's like, I don't know what this conversation's about, but
Yeah,
I'm here.
right.
So
and who's
I
Courtry,
want
number
to add
four?
to. I
the
wanted to add to.
number 4, can you drop please so that Courtry, one of the panelists, can come up on the panel? He's on the flyer. If you could drop, please, number 4. Please and thank you. Did you get your screenshot?
So
Not
you
yet.
get your
We got
screen.
this
Not get your
Sunday coming.
screenshot.
Not the
You better get
screenshot.
your girl.
Indigo,
Did you
when
take
you're
your
talking to me,
picture?
your
Yeah.
voice, do you
Yes.
mind?
I
Ooh,
want
I
to
was
say
trying to
hi,
get it in,
Country Radio.
y'all.
Hi. I want
Hello,
to say
everybody.
that
trying to keep a
is it
straight
Hi.
face
possible? Is
doing
it
this.
possible? So
And
sorry.
so Indigo,
I
excuse me,
wanted to
hold on, guys.
say.
Hold on, guys. This is what we're gonna have to do because all of your opinions are very important to me. And so if we can just give each other respect, so when somebody is talking, let's just give them, a total of like, 60 seconds to get their point across, so everyone feels like they're heard. Because being heard is what's important to us. This is why we're here tonight, right? So Indigo, what is your point of view, darling? Hold
Can
on
you hear
one
me?
second. We're gonna unmute
Okay.
everybody. Okay, you have the floor.
Yes, I wanted to say, is it possible that it's not so much of a code switch, but more so an inheritance thing? We come from slaves, and that's just something in us to fear anything that's different from us because of what our ancestors and what we've been through. So, could it be possible that it's not quite so much as code switching, but more so of something that's innate inside of us that is born? We're born to turn it off and turn it on when we need to. Because
I
I
agree.
tend to do that as
I
well.
agree.
I tend to
I
do that as
agree.
well.
I agree. And to Tamar's point about the pressure that we feel.
Hmm.
I know we started off talking about mental health, and I just want to stick it in here for a second. We're exposed to a trauma, every day, right? So we have friends, we have
Absolutely.
family, people who we know who are going through all types of things, but then we ourselves have to go to work and put on a mask, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? So that mental health piece, I know that a lot of us was raised in the church and is go to God in prayer, but we also need to go to a therapist and talk about it because
True.
Oh,
that is not, although
Yeah.
there's a stigma
Yeah.
around it, and when you say you're depressed or you have anxiety, we don't like to talk about that. We shy away from those things, and we kind of go to a spiritual place. But we as
Yeah.
a people really do need to open up and to start having the discussion and saying, guys, there's a lot of trauma involved in having to put on a mask day after day
Yeah.
after day after day,
Yeah.
and
absolutely.
we need to seek out professionals, okay,
Yes.
who can
Yeah.
assist us with that. I just wanted to stick that in. That's my piece for tonight.
Yes, that is
And
so
I'm so
I'm
glad you
true.
into it,
brought that.
Tyler.
That
That
is
Yeah.
is
so
so
true.
it's so poignant and
You
so
have
and so important to our African American community. A lot of us feel like in our community that going to counseling means that something is drastically wrong with us,
yeah.
and not that we are figuring out and working out our issues with the professional who has some of the tools that can guide us into leading our best lives and being our best self. I just want to recognize someone here who is just new to the panel. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm terrible with names. How do I say it?
Portrait.
Cortria.
Cortree Radio.
Cortray.
Nice
Hi,
to meet you,
darling. How are
Tamar.
you?
Such a pleasure to be here with you,
Oh
sweetheart.
man, my pleasure, my pleasure. Please give us a little bit of your background and what do you have to say about the African American community when it comes to mental health, and why do you think it's important for us to seek mental health instead of just going to our pastors, our aunties, our cousins, people
Come
who
on now.
don't have the tools to, to 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 help us
Don't get me started on that.
understand what true mental health is.
Well, my name is Cortree. I'm a photographer,
Yes.
videographer, and content creator located in Chicago, Illinois. I'm also media
Awesome.
director for Cavasier's Midwest Division.
Come on now.
Um,
Come on.
and when it comes to mental health in the Black community, I think it's time to pull the covers back because I know in my family, my mother always said that what goes on in our
Our
house
house
Stays
stays
in
in
Stays
the
our
in
house.
house.
our
Don't care what's
stays
home.
going
in
on
our
inside the
house,
house.
and usually that means just ignoring the problem and hoping it goes away,
Yeah.
which is something that I was actually just talking to Cha Cha Ma about the other day. It just creates tension in families and unhappy situations, especially when you're coming together
Absolutely.
for our holidays. It's time we pull the covers back and deal with some of these issues. I am in my family the truth seeker. I'm the one who's going to put it all on the table. Let's open up
That
some
part.
of these wounds because
Yeah.
it's not until we open up some of these wounds that we can actually begin to heal them.
Yeah.
Which is
Absolutely.
one of the reasons I've identified so much with you, Tamara, over the years because I've watched you do that same thing, honey. Let's slice it open,
Yes.
pour it out, put it on the table, and now it's time to deal with it. I mean, even for myself, recently I've had to seek some outside help just to sit down and be
Absolutely.
able to talk through some issues with somebody, and I'm not ashamed of that. We've all had a rough year, and I think at some point we're going to have some kind of moratorium on what the uprisings have done to us as a people, what the lockdowns have done to us as
Yes.
a people.
Yes.
Collectively, I do not believe we're okay. We saw all of white America say, here, because of the uprisings, have a free movie, have a free Starbucks coffee, as if that was going to be enough, and it's just not. And then we watched them go the whole other way around the time of the election. Like, well, what happened in May? I thought we were all just kumbaya, and
Right,
it just
right.
all seemed
Yeah.
like it was one big fat lie. So, as a people, we're going to have to stop at some point and deal with what's been happening with us emotionally, collectively. And for some people, that's compounded on top of what they've been dealing with in their families long
Yeah.
before the pandemic. And
Yep.
Right.
we're seeing a lot of people in turmoil, especially on this app. When I see
Yep.
people who are reading each other and who are being nasty with one another, I
Preach the
pray
word
for
of the
them.
Lord.
I'm like,
Preach the word of the
some
Lord.
of these people are traumatized and don't even realize it. Some of these people are in PTSD actively, and don't even realize it. And we're
And
going to have to deal with it as a people. So, if you're not okay, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to go seek
Woo!
help. We should
It's
all be
okay
doing that.
to not
to
be
not be
okay,
okay.
but it's not
Yeah,
That's so
okay
true.
to stay
I've
that's
not
just
true.
gotten
okay.
to that
And
point
I
where
think that
I'm
that
telling people I'm not okay. So that is very a valuable statement because as Black women, especially Black women, we have to hold up this image as if we have everything all together. We're the mothers, we're the providers, we're all of
Yes.
these things. So
Yes.
as women, we try
We're
to hold
not supposed to
that
be.
strong one. So it's really healthy sometimes to be like, you know what, I'm not okay, and I need a moment.
so what
And it's
happens when you
healthy.
admit, and this is the question, what happens when you admit that you're not okay?
Oh,
Because a
there
lot
is
of
a
people,
stigma of
and
you.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. Say it again.
Um, they make this when you're transparent with people saying that you're not okay. There's something wrong with you. They put this black girl mentality on you for just being open about who you are, and it's not
Yes.
right. It's not.
We
And
turn
unfortunately,
into
when you're that
angry
vulnerable,
black females, problematic females,
Yes.
females who can't get
Hard
along
to
with
work with.
other females
Yeah.
when
Mm-hmm.
we don't make it safe for our community to come to each other and let each other know that, hey, I am not okay. Where can I go for help? But, what I found is that we don't have those answers because in
We don't.
our community, we
We don't
that's
have
just
those
something that we don't
opportunities.
talk about because that would
Right.
mean
Yeah.
that our household was inadequate. That means our household was toxic. Our
Mm-hmm.
household had issues and all the issues that you talked about that we were not allowed to talk about,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then once
Yes.
you pull the wool over, when you pull the wool and snatch off the band-aid, we become messy, which
Right.
is
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You're
ridiculous.
too blunt. You're too transparent. You're
We
too
we
clear
spill
on
in the
what you
tea.
Mm-hmm.
allow and what you
You're
want in your space.
rude. We
Yep.
spill
You
in the
too,
tea.
you too much.
well, in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Black community, we're also really quick when it comes to mental health and things like that to say it's
Mm-hmm.
a generational curse. And a
Yeah.
generational curse,
Or
we got to
or
pray that
say
out and we need to
the
Yeah.
go to
mental health
church.
we don't
Where
know.
Yeah.
It
it's
or we
Or
might not
sometimes
know.
that is
sometimes,
therapy.
Or
And
it's
I
a
think
white people
that
thing.
it's
It's for
patterns.
white
It's
people.
patterns
Yes.
that
and I
have to be
think
Yeah.
broken.
instead of,
And it's if you're gonna break a pattern, you have to do the work to do that. And
yeah.
that is going to
True.
therapy. That is going to
Can I
talk
just
to
throw this
someone
out
other
there?
than just your pastor.
Can
Because
I
a
just
lot of
throw this
times
out there?
pastors' households are fucked up. And that's just
Oh
factual.
well, I grew up in that household too, so
I just
I
want to
already
throw
know
this
on
out there
both sides.
though. I feel like a lot of the professionals though tend to be white people. Well, I'm from Canada. I don't know where everybody else is from, right? So majority is white people, right? So I felt like even
Yeah.
if I needed help, who am I going to speak to? Like you said, pastor, no, that's not an option. He's just going to tell you to pray it away. And
Yeah.
then your own mother will look at you like, why are you bringing this disgrace to my family? And then the person that you're speaking to, the professional, is usually a white person who can't
Right.
relate. And it's not being
Mm.
racist. It's true. White people
I just
cannot
want
always
to
relate to what black people are going through.
let
Yes,
me just stick this
that is
in here.
true.
And I came in here with this tonight.
Mhm.
If you even just Google, I don't know what it is for Canada, but I can say for those of us in America, if you even just Google a simple phrase like black girl therapy, there are several websites that
Mm.
have black and brown professionals who work with black people. I'm a member of the LGBTQ community, so for me,
Yes.
that search would be black and LGBTQ therapists. And that's how I found my
Mm.
therapist. I don't want to sit down and speak to anybody who's going to invalidate my
Yes,
experience as a
yes,
black
Mm.
and LGBTQ
Yeah.
person. So anybody who's in this room who wants to seek help, understand that maybe your first therapy session may be a little awkward and weird, but if you do the pre-work, if you do the pre-work of doing Yeah. the research and finding you a good black woman or black man or black
Hmm.
non-binary person or black trans person to sit down with and talk to, you already know you're going to be understood because they are
Hmm.
having the same struggle when they walk out of that door.
yes,
So
Hmm.
everybody who's in this room, please search for a therapist who is going to validate your experience and not gaslight you
Of
and
course.
ask you
Yeah.
questions
Yes.
like,
yes,
well, why do you think they were racist? Were you just not trying yes, hard
You
enough
don't get
to
it.
get the
Yeah,
Right.
you don't
promotion?
get it because you don't
You
relate.
need to
oh,
get correct. So please be
Right.
You don't relate.
specific in your search so that you're not like, I'm spending this $100 every 2 weeks and it's not going nowhere. Well, you yeah, got to do the research, my people. That's
yes,
my
you
piece
do.
on that,
But we
You
y'all.
have,
have
And
to
Yeah,
it's
and
do,
but
it's
with
but
okay
you
to
services
that,
where
sit
you
also
can
have to
actually
give
down.
it an
put in
opportunity to
specifically
work.
who you would like to speak to, and also too, maybe therapy is not for you. Maybe coaching. I know for me, I do better with a coach. I was recently even in couples therapy as far as a coach because I need somebody that's going to actually make me do the work and put a plan in action because I'm a
That's it.
Capricorn. I'm all about results and delivering. So maybe therapy is not, you needing someone just to listen to you, but actually having someone that can work with you and a life
Got
coach that's going to actually help you change your life so that you can go out there and create your greatness and live in the life that you're creating.
Big facts.
Tamara,
but
can I
then
ask you
with
a quick
us with
question?
Yes, you
Go
can ask
ahead.
me anything.
What have you done in your life to help with your mental I don't to help with your journey? Because something I love about you is you're unapologetically you all the time. I don't know if you were like that as a little girl, but I would love to hear your story.
Well, it's such a long story, and I think what you are referring to is when I first noticed that I was struggling with mental health issues. And I first noticed back when everything happened with the Rio, and it was really, really hard for me to come out of that dark, depressive state. Like I was in my room so long, I had no idea what time of day, I had no idea what day of the week it was. I was funky. I didn't take a shower. I was just there. And for me, I didn't know that this is what mental health looks like. And I think that this is an issue, not just with the African American community, but majority. And if that's what we're speaking about today, I think that we are used to covering things up until we feel better and we have that
Yes.
okay, now I have enough energy to go outside and act like I got it all pulled together.
Right.
And
yeah,
I
And
know
you
that
But
don't.
everybody knows what I'm talking about because we get that from our parents' generation and their generation who has to act like they have it
everything
Everything's
figured
okay.
okay.
out and worked out. I can do this because it showed a level of strength. And for me, that was the first time during that time when I noticed that this is a real issue because I couldn't figure out how do I get from this sticky, yucky place. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of people in our comments tonight are talking about how for them therapy didn't work initially. Well, no, it didn't work for me initially, but you have to give it a chance to make it work. You can't
Right.
go just 1 and 2 times or 3 and 4 times and think that it's going to fix 20, 15, 10 years worth of issues and problems that you have been covering up
That's
for
my
years and years and
opinion.
years. It doesn't work that way. You have to it's like an onion. You have to peel those
Peel
And I
it
think
layers
back.
tonight,
back.
Peel
And
it
you have to
back.
be open and willing to talk about things and
yes,
Come on
accept
now.
things about yourself. And once you
that's true.
accept those things about yourself, make the decision to make the change
Come
to be
on.
the
Hmm.
better person
That's
and
correct.
the better person, not just for the
Reconditioning.
world, but the better
That's
person
true.
for
Right.
you. Because the only person that has to live with you is you.
Is
That's
you.
That's
it.
it.
Right.
Yes,
That's it. You're
yes.
not doing
And
this for anybody else. It's for no one else but for you.
But I
So we
think
have
in
a
our
lot of
community,
amazing
though,
people in this room, and if you
for
are new to
sometimes,
this amazing panel, we are definitely talking about tonight
yes,
Black History Month exclusively on BIGO. Shout out to BIGO for having all of these amazing African American beautiful people in the house tonight. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, BIGO is messy, sad. I ain't getting on there. Everybody talking." No, we talk about positivity and love and light, and there are some amazing African American people on this site who are spreading love, positivity, education, love, and the wealth. Okay, let's not forget about the coins. So, girls, you better get in your box some love. And we're gonna change gears real fast, and I want to make sure that I get the right people in the room for the time and the concept because we don't have a whole lot of time tonight. But I do want to expand a little bit more and spend a little bit of time. I'm sorry.
yeah, do what you gotta do.
On mental health because I do feel like it is such a prominent discussion that needs to be had especially in our African American community. If anybody on this panel wants to share
I'll go
um,
and give my
their
own personal
experience
story.
and their, I guess, awakening on mental health, I would love to hear that. And I know that people in the comments would love to hear it as well because I feel like the more we talk about it, the more we normalize the situation and stop ostracizing each other and stop beating each other up and making each other feel bad about things we have absolutely no knowledge of getting better at. So, is there anybody else who wants to be transparent tonight?
I'll, I'll be
Okay.
transparent a little bit. Well, in regards to so growing up in my household, in the crazy Jamaican Southern type of household,
Yes.
my grandmother said, of course, what happens in this house stays in this house. Mental health was never talked about.
Yes.
What someone was going through in our house, no one would know.
Right.
So when it came to being on my dad's side with the pastor,
Yes.
um, mental health was not to be discussed. So for years, didn't understand why my father was acting particular ways. And as an adult, I finally told him to go to therapy and found out he's bipolar.
Ooh.
And in his 50s finding out that you're bipolar.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
when we start seeing things that you're doing the same thing and keep getting the same result, doing the same thing, same result. You keep getting laid off for a job because you spazzed out on somebody. You keep the same
Yeah.
thing, keep everything the
Wow.
same trickle effect,
It passed.
and pass the sun. So as an adult now, and I'm looking at him, and I'm in my 30s, and I'm why wasn't this talked about?
Mhm.
Why wasn't we giving him the resources that he needed back then, not in his 50s, to try to figure out, well, this is what's been going on with me. It's good that he's on his medication now, that he is in a stable mind and progressing as he should, but going back to to why he was doing those moments where he didn't want to be bothered, and he'll have manic moments. Nobody would know because we didn't talk about these things.
So what did you
We
Mhm.
just
guys
swept it on.
what did you guys do in that moment before he got help? Did you say, "Oh, Dad's crazy," or "He's
I'm like,
having
what
one
is
of his
going
like
on?
how did
Because
you labelize
it
him?
was I just started realizing, I'm like, you act my cousin act just like you. And her husband, she went and found out that she was bipolar. And this was years. I'm like, you doing the same thing that she does, like the same manic moments, and then you disappear and don't want to be bothered, and then you come back to light again, and then disappear again. So it just was the same thing. So I was like, I think that you should talk to someone about it. But me saying it to him, the child telling the parent, it one ear out the other. But soon as his wife started realizing the same thing, mental health is not talked about. And yes, it is genetic.
It's
Some
very
things are
genetic. I want to
genetic.
speak on
A
that.
lot of people don't speak on it. They go, oh well, it's just you're just making this up. No, it is genetic. It do run in generations. You might not know that your partner has family members that are bipolar or schizophrenic, and you're going through that. And you might not know it.
Right.
But I
Corky,
mean,
we
it just
I would say, growing up in a household, I have two brothers that are one is bipolar and one is bipolar and schizophrenic. One of my brothers just got released from prison 2 weeks ago for a crime he didn't commit, and it was crazy. He had to spend 10 years in jail, but he's
Mm.
out. We're fighting now with the system, and doing some things in my city to help get him justice for him losing all that time. And so me growing up in a household with that, it was very hard. I was the oldest. So a lot of me I kind of just had to understand, right?
Yeah.
Understand. But even though I still I didn't really understand, I didn't
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
understand why they were able to get away with stuff. Like, why didn't they get a punishment? Why didn't they? And
Yeah.
what happened was I ended up growing to understand that there is a way you have to communicate when it comes to handling people in general, everyone, whether it's a mental illness or not. When you're dealing with someone with a mental illness, it's not calling them, oh, you're slow, or you're stupid, or you're this, or you're that. A lot of those biases are from our community itself. Of, hey, we're calling each other names and things like that. And I think that puts so much pressure on the person who has it that they can't even really say I need help, because it's
Facts.
like you said, it's like,
We
well,
shame
if we
them.
say it, then we're going to be ashamed. They're going to say
oh,
I'm
but
crazy. They're going to
Right.
put me in
then
this
when someone
category.
asks you, do you want help? Oh, I got this.
Yeah.
I got
But
But
it.
that's
that's
I got
because,
it.
and
conditioning.
I'm
That's
sorry to
still
cut you
Oh,
off,
oh,
but
no,
that's
conditioning.
no,
because
That's
no.
still
as a
what
but
we're
that's
Your
see
taught.
father,
that's
oh,
when
because
we
your
were
you
young
taught
father,
to
as
be
Black
like
your
people,
father
survival
act
we
just
were
mode,
like
raised,
you.
and
we
Not
were
Yeah,
now.
raised
and
to
he's
Now he
okay.
survive.
has
Right, and he's
a
okay.
real
everyone is
mental
talking at the
issue.
same time.
Yeah. I was just saying that's just because us as Black people, we were raised to survive, whereas white counterparts were raised to thrive. So me growing up,
Hmm.
I had to survive as a Black man, and later I had to survive as a Black gay man in this world. Whereas my
Mm-hmm.
white friends were just
Talk
taught to
about it.
thrive and go out and reach their dreams. We don't have that awakening until we're much older. That I'm here for another
Mm-hmm.
purpose, and I too can create
Yes.
my
Right.
greatness and stand in that. So a lot of
Yeah,
the mental health things we deal with is based on at a young age our parents trying to protect us, ensure that we'll
Facts.
still be here, and not
Yes.
realizing that it's messing with us in the long run.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Part of the reason I think that happens is because our kids turn 18 and we're ready to push them out
And
into
we
the world.
done.
And
Right.
and
Yeah, we
and
like deuces.
sometimes they're
Yes.
not always ready in white households. You look at someone like Jeff Bezos, whose parents gave him $250,000 to start Amazon, and now he's a trillionaire. And we be so ready to tell our kids, go make it on your own without fully giving them the
The
tools
tools that
to
they
do
need.
Oh,
so.
the
Like,
Yeah.
have you
tools is
had
the key
talks about
word.
credit, financial responsibility,
Yeah.
paying bills? Have you had this talk with your kids? Have you set up funds for
A
them to
core
go out
treat.
into the world
Right.
to do what you want them to do? Or are
But what
you
if your
just
parents
hoping
don't
that
know?
by
What if your parents
osmosis
don't
they
know?
find it
That,
somehow?
Well,
and
that's
that's a
the
great.
point. Like
What if your
it's the
parents
same
don't know?
pattern.
When your parents don't know, guys, this is when we turn to the pillars of our community and people who are willing to talk about it. And that is why I have dedicated my ministry now to helping people find the tools to, I call it mental freedom. This is not a plug, but I just felt compelled to mention it now that I'm having an online conference, and it's called Lucky 21. And it was very, very important to me and my partner, Angel, to start this because no one has the answers. We have all of these problems, but no one has nowhere to go. And this online conference speaks about just that, and just like my homie in the middle was just talking about, like who do we go to get financial literacy? Who do we go to get the proper mental health help that we all need? Who do we go to when we don't have the support of our family, when we know that something's wrong and we need medication, and we are afraid to talk about it because we're going to be shamed with our peers and our counterparts? We feel less than automatically because we walk through the door in a deficit. So if you guys wanted to join, it's not very expensive. It's only $99. We set it up. It's like $50, less than $50 a day. It's for 2 days. Go to my Instagram page and or what's the name of the website? Because I ain't write this down, y'all. I'm telling y'all, this is not what WBBtalk.com, and I'm just gonna leave that there. And I just felt compelled to say that. I mean, it's a lot of people. It's not. I'm not trying to sell y'all nothing. That's not why I'm here. No, it's not. It's not why I'm here. Yeah. But the reason behind it is because we don't know where to go, and it's so many panelists that are going to be joining us, yeah, and giving you the tools that we need to be a better us, our best selves, and walk into our winning season. So I just, yeah, wanted to leave y'all with that.
So we wanted to say thank you to everybody that's on here right now.
Yeah.
We do have some people in the queue that we need to hear from as well. We love you guys.
Love
we
y'all so
appreciate
much.
y'all so
So
much.
smart, so
So
amazing.
we
I love
need
my
DJ.
black people more than anything. I love me some educated, amazing black people. I love y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for striving to want to be better, get better, and do better, and show our people that we have a way out. Period.
Yeah. So we need two people to drop right now. We have DJ Who Kid is coming up, and then we have one other person, Pimp P. So if just two people can drop down, and then we can keep the discussion going. So please, you guys, we appreciate you guys so much.
All right, now this next topic, I want his hat to move out my face. I love you.
Oh, sorry, baby.
But this next topic, I'm not even gonna lie, I am so excited to talk about because, whew, like outside of mental health and black people, this topic is about black representation in entertainment and media. And I'm just gonna leave that right there until we get some people up here. Because I think that we all know what it's like people get together, we talking about entertainment and media and what we gonna do. It's all sometimes y'all can I cuss? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just a pure shit show. And you know, and it's so hard to be taken seriously, especially when us as a people are so gifted and talented and so driven. But we get sidetracked by the people who actually can't help us, by all the fakers and the fronters. We lose our focus because we get caught up in the celebrity side of it instead of knowing the business side of it. The business side and the artistic side goes hand in hand. And I just need everybody to know that. So I'm going to bring up some amazing people. Who do we have in our
We have new Pimp Pete, and then we have DJ Who Kid.
All right. So DJ Who Kid and Pimp Pete, welcome to our panel. I would just like to know a little bit more about you guys. So Pimp Pete, can you tell us who you are, where you're from, and what's up with you, boo?
What's going on? This is your boy Pimper T. I'm from Texas, right down here in Texas, and I'm an actor. I write saying short films and I film short films, and also I do a little music on the side. You know what I'm saying?
All right. All right. What about Pimp?
Oh, that was me. You said Pimpin'?
Oh yeah, you're gonna do number 7, DJ Who Kid.
I'm sorry, DJ Who Kid. What about you?
I thought you were calling me a pimp. I was like,
I'm not
what?
confirming here. Can you turn me up or something?
Well, I haven't seen you in a long time, but I interviewed you and your sisters a long time ago on my show on Sirius XM. So I run Eminem's channel during the weekends, and
Oh
I
man,
did all the mixtape stuff. But I enjoyed our interviews that we've
man,
had.
I
So
follow you.
I just thought I'd come up here and be involved with something cool instead of some ignorant stuff.
Ooh,
So
preach the word of
I,
the
Oh
Lord.
yeah.
I really like the topics, and I really like the truth, which is like you don't see every day because the media they don't promote stuff like this, and the media is controlled.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
black people have to communicate with each other, just like when the slaves used to link up in barn
Singing
and
them
meet up
hymns.
secretly and just talk to each other. We have to figure it out how to do this with this media control situation that's going on because just like if you type in Trump, they take your post down. So obviously they control
Mm.
everything. So all
Mm.
going on, like you were talking about, issues and issues we were talking about earlier. I mean,
Yeah,
we there's no education. There's no like places where or there's no places where you can get that kind of information. So where
Absolutely.
yeah,
I thought
yeah,
everybody was crazy. I thought
yeah.
it just like
Man,
Kanye West. Kanye West is the number one example. The social media, the news, everybody they just make fun of him first before they get
yeah.
to the
Hmm.
seriousness.
To
So
try to figure out what's wrong with them, they make fun of people. That's everywhere, man. And that's why I was kind of shocked, but I was thankful that I heard that first beginning, man, because mental health, man, and music go hand in hand sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it does. Yes, it
Because
does.
because
Most
what?
sometimes
definitely.
that music will make you calm you sometimes. You know what I'm saying if you're going through something, and sometimes you know what I'm saying. So that's why when y'all was talking about it, I think about all the people that I looked over the years. And I'm like, dang, I thought that man was crazy. Couldn't find out he just probably just needs some
Yes.
you know what
Genius.
I'm saying?
Yep.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
as far as that
And
music goes, I just think it cures us. It cures us in many ways. I mean, think about it. Back in the days, all the slaves when they used to sing them gospels and everything, and this would go with it. They're going through things, and that singing helped them to, you know what I'm saying, keep them at peace, even though they're going through something. It just kept that peace, and that's what I liked about. That's what I like about music. You know what I'm saying, as far as mental health goes. So
and
I was
And
If
let
I
me
good.
can
ask you
just
guys.
add, if I can just add, I'm so sorry, Tamar. I
Oh
didn't
no
want
no
to
no, it's
cut
all
you
good.
off, but I would love to just add this. I think to connect the two topics, we're going into another one, but just to connect the two, I think everything that we go through as a people, the trauma, everything that we've seen over these years, I find myself saying sometimes that Black joy is a miracle. It really is. So when we see it displayed in art, in film, in music, in singing, in dancing, we connect to it in a different way because we have gone through so much trauma to be able to birth that art that comes out, right? And so then we have this capitalist society that sees that black joy, like, wow,
Hey,
we can enslave these people, we can spit on them, we can deny them loans, we can deny them money, but then they sing and they dance, and we can make money off of that too. So
Right.
and that's why.
there's,
Absolutely.
do you know what I'm saying? Like our art
I
is,
do. So it raises this question. Why is it so hard for us to enter in and sustain in a entertainment industry that is based on our
Oh,
own culture?
Yeah.
uh,
So as
go
someone
ahead.
that I mean, I came up early, by the way. My apologies. This is actually my subject. So I own a
It's all
production
good, boo
company.
boo.
I've produced a
Yeah,
show for
me too,
Bravo
O'Neal.
called Your Husband's Cheating on Us.
I
And
love that show, by the way.
thank you. For me, I think to completely truthful, uh, back in the day, black women we were cast as the servant, the mammy, the butler. Then we
Yeah,
progressed to being the troublemaker, the angry black woman, or as the
yeah,
vixen. So we get stuck in these
gangster.
categories, and the people that are
Right.
creating these stories aren't even us half the time. Like
yes,
Yeah.
even with like creating Your Husband's Cheating on Us, which was supposed to be called the circuit because it was about the chitlin circuit,
Yes,
but
it
it ended
was.
up
Yes,
getting
it
what
was. Yes,
getting
it was called
whitewashed
that.
and changed into something else, because it was other people, not like myself, sitting at a table that got the dialogue there. So even when we get to the table, a lot of time we're overtalked, and then our ideas are then watered down and whitewashed as to how they see us versus
Yeah.
how we know
Yeah.
we are. How
Yeah.
Tamar said earlier about it's about the culture. No, we're not. We say culture in our community because we know that's it
Yeah.
about. But they
Yeah.
call it they talking black or they're being hood or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing I was gonna say.
Ratchet.
But oh, shouts out to Black Joy in the comments too, by the way. But she was like Black Joy in the room. But but yeah, I think that's what ends up happening. We end up being forced into being the stereotypes because it's not us at the
Yeah.
tables making those decisions.
Yeah.
Well,
Whereas we
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
more Tyler Perry's, we need more Lee Daniels, we
That's
need
yes,
those
exactly what I was
individuals
going
that
to
are
Oh, yeah.
say.
making
we
our
Yes.
Yeah.
stories
we
and making
Yes.
do
us in larger
we,
roles. I
we
know
do,
people
And we
but
come
need
for
you
one
Tyler,
too.
of the
And we
but
need
ways
you
Tyler
too.
is
And
making
that was one of my
theirs.
reasons for
He's
doing what
writing
I'm
other
doing.
types of stories and dialogue for us.
one of
Yeah.
I
the
agree. And
ways
we need
one
you
of the
too,
ways we can
O'Neal.
get
Like we need more
around that
people like you
though.
to create more things too. We need you
Oh,
too.
thank you, baby.
I'm an Yeah, I'm an author, so I know how important it is that when I write stories or when I write an article or whatever I write, it's so important that I deliver it in a way that represents my people like to the utmost because there's
Mhm.
so many things that represent us in this world or film or whatever that is just totally filtered, watered down, just ran over, all of that. So I agree with you, O'Neal, completely. We need more you. We need more us sis, to
We
be like,
do.
we need more
But then we
us's
have to support
to,
ourselves
step.
too.
Yes, we
That's the other
do. Yes,
piece.
we
Because
That,
a
that
do.
lot of
right
times we
there.
get to the
Mm.
table
That
and
right
it's
there.
people like
Yeah.
I'm the one that gets to the table. I got the door open. I'm bringing my crew with me. But a lot of times what happens is we have people that have made it and us as it's crab in the barrel. Like then we're
Yes.
That
pulling
right
the other person
there.
down and
Man.
attacking them. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
how
That,
many people have seen our people have breakdowns publicly and being vulnerable and sharing their truth. Thank you, Tamar, for doing that. But
yeah.
full transparency, there was 50% of my timeline that supported my sister and then the other 50% cracking jokes. That's a
Yeah.
Yes.
problem.
Yes,
That
it
is a
Yeah,
is.
that's a
problem.
major problem.
Yes.
That's a major problem. But one of the ways we can get around that is by supporting black artists and supporting
Yeah. Right
black media because there have been
Yeah.
you have to go kind of back to look at representation in the 1930s to the 1910s, like O'Neal was saying, when we were playing maids, criminals, slaves, etc. There was a
there.
big migration from the south to the north of black people, and studios found an appeal or thought they had an appeal with making black films, but there were so many black companies that failed because they lacked support. And that's the
Yeah.
same thing
Yes.
now.
Mm.
Like if
That
you
is.
can spend $20 on a shield on this app, you could take 10 of those dollars and support a black artist, make a
Yeah. Yeah.
donation,
Yeah.
stream some
So support.
music,
Yes.
download it, buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like we really
Yeah.
have to get to a place where we are supporting our
Yes.
own.
Yes.
And
I
that's
wish
going
And
to
we could
create
take
support
those
it.
blacks across the
avenues
Yes.
for
board.
us
Call
to
me
make
Issa Rae. I'm rooting
this
for everybody
I
media
good.
wish we
and
could.
create this content.
Yeah,
I wish we
yeah.
could take it back to the Harlem Renaissance where all of this, our Black history as far as arts began and launched within the Harlem Renaissance. Of course, we're sub-African, right? But we have sub-African roots. But the really what pushed us in America, I mean, Black people, as far as art and literature, and culture in general, poetry, blues, jazz, all that came from that Harlem Renaissance era where they were like, okay, the great migration of Southern people moving to the North, and all of these actions because we were represented in this way that was just not us. Like you said, O'Neill, we were the slaves, we were the handmaidens, we were all of that, and
Oh
so I,
Lord, boss. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I have a
Always.
So,
quick.
I
But
have a
we
question for the panel. How
Yes.
many of you honestly have gotten more support in your craft and your arts from
Mm,
white people versus your own black people? I launched a
Oh
book
man.
last year as well. That was a bestseller, and I had more white
yeah.
people buy my book than black
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
because
four.
a
yeah.
lot
I
of
have
times
four,
we
and
across the
look.
board
I,
we don't
I
support
would
each
agree.
mm,
other.
I
White
would
people don't
agree.
ask for
Well,
I would
discounts.
well,
agree.
my story is different because 90% of my clientele is African American, and that's by design. Sometimes you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice this to get that. So I won't necessarily take a project I'm not emotionally bonded to,
Mhm.
and I'm emotionally bonded to most Black issues. So those are the projects I take. And if I'm putting that energy out into the universe, that's what's coming back to me.
it's whew, law of
I think.
attraction. Yes,
Well,
Courtney.
It's all about
Go
the
ahead,
law of
Tamar. I'm not
attraction.
gonna cut you off.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
please. I would
yeah.
love to hear your
I,
opinion. I
I
thought.
was gonna say something about. I think that to your point, Indigo, about the Harlem Renaissance. I think I'm in the music industry, right?
Okay.
I can say that the film industry, by far, is experiencing a sort of renaissance. We're
Mm,
seeing writers and
I hear.
people like Lena Waithe come
Mm,
through and be amazing. We're
mhm.
seeing artists like Viola Davis win
Yeah.
Emmy Awards. You understand what I'm saying? There are people
Yeah,
who are breaking through in that space, but
are still
unfortunately,
trailblazers.
my
Right.
my experience in the music industry is that we're still bound up. If I could use a church word, we're still bound there in the music industry for
Right.
Black women. When
But
someone
it's
like
not even just the music industry, Ivy. It's it's
yeah.
it's also in Hollywood as well.
Oh,
And I
I hear
think
Yes.
that.
because the consensus is that I think everyone already knows going into it that Black people don't support Black people. And at the end
Exactly.
of the
And
day, they're going to tune into
It's
it for
so
the
sad.
foolishness. They're not going to
Ex-
tune into it for an educational show. They're not going to tune into it, to get something out of it, to be elevated and uplifted. They're not going to tune into it for that. They're going to tune
No.
into it because we're throwing drinks in each other's faces
Yep.
because they want to
Always.
see the
Yeah.
next
Yes.
angry Black
I'm with
No, most
that.
of them
proud
are.
Yes.
female because we
Preach
on
it.
the shows we're not supporting each other.
Yep.
There's
I
a
don't
lot
support
of
that.
Black reality shows that I simply just will not
I don't.
turn
I don't watch none of that. I'm
Facts.
sorry. I don't
turning
watch none of that.
on because I'm
I
just
don't watch
gonna
Truth,
be
none of
though.
that.
It's
honest.
the truth.
My girlfriends, I don't know how many times or what kind of people y'all hang out with, but I have never ever been in a situation where I'm at a classy restaurant with my girlfriends and they get to fighting and throwing
Out of
drinks
nowhere.
in each other's face. I have
I
That's
can't
true.
never
deal.
experienced
I
that.
can't
Right.
deal.
That
That
part.
ain't no
Facts.
friend. That ain't friends.
Facts.
Never.
No damn friends.
But but they know that's what we gravitate toward, and that's what
Yeah,
sells.
and that's
I
We
agree.
have
foolish.
to change the
And
narrative,
Just
ratchet.
like
You
we
just
do
guys,
with
really
Twitter.
quickly.
I'm
Just
And
If it
Is
it's
ain't
that
how
what
ratchet, it
we're
ain't right.
gravitating towards, or is that all we're showing the generations coming up
No, that's all.
behind
That's
us?
that's all. That's
no,
all they
that's
show.
that's the
That's all they
dialogue at
show.
the tables. It's
That's
how
all
it
they
creates
show.
the drama, how the
Well,
producers can produce a scene,
yeah.
which is why people like Nene has gotten a bad rap because she produced her own stuff because she's smart. Because
Mm.
producers you think are your friends when you go into a show
They're
your
not.
first season,
Oh,
They're
they,
thinking
not.
they
they're
have
bringing
your
it over.
they're
back,
not.
but they're
They
setting you
set
up
Yeah,
to
you
make
up.
you look like a coon on national television.
Mm.
But that's a great point that
Wow.
Portray made earlier about
Wow.
you going your own way. And I think that there is a
create your own.
fear in our creating your own path because there is a fear in our community of going your own way because you feel
Yeah.
you may not be supported.
Because
But when we see somebody like Issa Rae be where she is, it's because she was on YouTube on her own, self-funded for a
yeah,
number of years. You can't
yeah,
be afraid to step out and say, you know what?
and
Maybe
lose.
nobody will support me, but I'm going to go ahead and
Now,
do this for the culture. And we
No,
need
Yes.
more
I
of our
agree, but
young people
I think
to
that
do that.
the reality TV world is
yeah,
another
yeah,
horse of another
yeah,
I
color
yeah.
agree. I
They
because
agree
really
with
they
that,
need it.
Tamar.
They that needs its own segment.
That's a whole nother,
Yes.
different foolery right there
We'll do
because,
it.
Yeah.
I respect people like Issa Rae and Tyler Perry
Yes.
and who else? Black
Lee
people
Daniels.
whoever.
Lena Waithe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who it only we can go
Yeah,
on for
Lena
days and
Waithe.
days. That ain't even the
Jordan
point. The
Peele.
point of the matter is
Tamara Braxton.
by the time we get
Mhm.
into these networks, we are not the
Yes.
owners anymore.
That
Really,
Yeah.
that's
really,
Yeah.
exactly
Tamar?
right.
Really,
You're
Yes,
Yeah.
we
right.
Tamar?
Look
are.
at your boy.
We are
You're
Yeah.
not
Look at
right.
your
allowed
boy.
to sit at the
You're
ownership
right.
Yeah. Nick
table.
Cannon. Yeah. Look at Nick
It's
Cannon right now.
You're right.
it's okay. It's okay to be competitive, but we got to stop being competitive
With
with
each
other
other.
black
Us.
With
people.
each
You know,
With
Yes,
other,
like
us.
sir.
With
we're
that
Yes.
too
us.
part.
busy.
Help each other. We supposed to help each other
Like
grow. How can we?
yo, like if I'm successful, why would I stop another black man's money? And it's I don't know. It's like some handed down hate
Stupid shit.
that
Yeah, but
But when my
Yeah.
what you're
brother's
I
winning,
don't
I'm
describing,
understand.
what you're
winning.
describing isn't competition. That's that Crabby
Yeah.
Barrel mentality. Competition is healthy
Let's
for
get
for
yeah.
for us to
Like
Yeah.
I
be
said that.
Because
I
it
said
makes you
that.
go
competing,
hard.
but to be trying to pull someone else
Right
down to
down.
lift you up,
But
that's something
competition
else
isn't healthy
for
when you gotta
100%.
pull somebody else
It's not
Yeah.
right.
down to
And I
get
see
But
there.
it's
that
not,
That's
all
I
the
don't think it's
time. I
always
see
competition.
that
That's
bad
all
to
the time in
bring
the
it
jealousy
to each
streets.
and
other.
being deceitful and hateful.
Absolutely.
Come
Yeah.
on, Daddy.
That part,
All
Tamar.
day.
Because
Ada
We
all
we
other
day.
have to
communities
break the narrative of
get
when.
together. Yeah, other communities get together and they create a movement where everybody's kid is living with comfortability, which is why black
Mm.
people,
Yeah.
their kids have no comfortability because all
Yeah.
we're
Because
doing is
we can't
busting
work
our
together.
ass trying to get money all day. So that's why we have horrible health. We
Yes.
because we're too busy
Yeah.
busting our ass trying to get that money.
Mm.
And we don't think
For
about
real.
like I'm not gonna diss other white people, but I have a lot of crazy rich white friends. Their kids
Mhm.
ain't worried about shit.
No.
You know,
At
their
all. Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
is cool. And I'm
And they're
talking about
raising us to
No.
thrive.
the rich guys I know. You
Is
know,
it
and
fair
there's
to
just
Yeah.
a
say?
comfortability where they don't have to worry about their parents. Like, oh, my parents might not have no money this month, but it's like, but it's just a fucked up situation. You know, like I'm always
Yeah.
thinking about making money. I'm always. But
Yeah.
that needs to
Because
change.
you
You know,
got you ain't got
that needs to switch up. You know, so
Can I
So the
just throw
question
this
is,
out there? Oh,
when do we get to the point where enough is enough? When do we get to the point where we become our own pack of cheerleaders and supporters? And
man.
my mother
When
always
we
said, you in any relationship, you show people how to treat you, right?
when we
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
decide
don't think
that
we
can you
You
say
do.
that
start where you
again?
are. You
Can you
start where
repeat
you are.
that,
You
please?
start now.
I
We
got
Right
don't
that
we
there.
don't do a
100%, but
good job in showing people how to treat our community because
Yeah.
we're
100%.
so abusive towards each other. We don't
Yeah.
support each other. And,
So
and
it's
I,
easy.
I'm a listen. I am definitely guilty of this too. I'm a shade room reader, follower, all of that.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
I don't do
all
none
of
of
that
that.
because it's entertainment and it's fun. But at the end of the day, when do we have a page like uplifting black people? This is what an
Right.
amazing thing this
Yeah.
black
Facts.
person did this week. This
That's
black
what.
person did this week. We don't support that. Why
but
do you
Yeah.
think
I
that
think
we
we're
are
all
so
I
lax
think we're
in
all
supporting each other?
yeah. I
Yeah.
think we're
Be-
all
mm.
human, Tamar, and I don't think that pulls anybody else down because you follow the shade room. I follow the shade room and some of those other blogs as well. But
Absolutely.
I think we get there when we decide that number 3 or number 6 coming up doesn't mean that I go down.
Right.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Unity
It
for
also,
me,
I
There
want
you
to
go.
unity
slap
for
my
yeah.
me
phone.
Sorry.
means standing in the gap even when you don't want to, even when
Yeah.
it doesn't feel good,
Yeah.
even when it's not something that you necessarily agree with, because that's what other races do. They're going to
Because
All
stand
day.
I
in
love
their
you, but I
gap
disagree.
Mm.
for the
I
gays. They're
disagree.
going to stand
Because
in
when
their
it
gap
comes
for
to
the
us,
Muslims and
and I hate
everything
to cut
else.
you off, but I do have to say this. I disagree because when it comes to us, there is no box 2, 3, 4, 5. There is
Exactly.
box
Only
2
one.
or 3.
Woo.
Ain't no 4 or 5 because that's just it. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
We
There
got
is
the
no
one choice of the
opportunities.
highway.
There are not a lot of opportunities for us to all shine together. We have to pick and choose
Right. That's
whose
what I was
turn it
saying.
is.
Right. That's what I was saying. That them coming up doesn't mean that I go down. So supporting
mm,
them doesn't
Mm.
make me less of a person,
Come on.
Right,
Yeah.
or less
right,
Yeah.
talented, or
Yeah.
less
Right.
sustained, or less
Yeah.
effective. That's what I was
Right.
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
I got,
I
I,
think
I
In
it's
the
got, I,
words
I
of
funny
got
my
a
though.
mother,
question
Like
though.
it's
I
I
want
got
to
a
funny to
begin
me.
question.
to
It's like
come on.
I got
I
a
was
question.
Praise
I
the
had a
broad.
friend on social media, one of my homegirls, and she's like, yeah, I have a business and no one's like supporting me. I just opened this business and this, that, and the third. And she's like, I thought my community would be, and it's sad. My reaction is just what my reaction is when I'm working with other people with their brands is your people are the last people to support you. Sad to say, but we're literally the last people. You have to go. I can't even promote my brand as much on FB because I don't even get my own people, my local community that I would think would take and buy my books, invest like, oh, I want you to build my site or whatever it is that I'm doing. They're not the first people. It's my people on
Yeah.
IG. It's the people that
Yeah.
don't even know
Yeah.
Yeah.
me from a can
Well,
of paint, that didn't watch me grow up, that doesn't know
yeah.
me. And I think that fear of like working with our people, like I had one
Mhm.
girl say, "Oh, I don't want to work with her because it's a she's black and she has a travel agency, but it's not hers, and I don't know about that." And I'm like,
It's
"Girl,
all
that
competition, and
girl,
All right,
like
so
you,
it's all about
yeah,
the
I
competition.
I
say
She's
it,
just got
showing
up
Cindy,
here.
competition.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just that fear of you getting before them.
yeah,
I'm saying like them.
mm.
I,
You know
I,
what I'm
I
saying?
got a
Why is it
question
a
I
though. I
understand
got a
it.
competition?"
question.
Exactly.
I
I
interviewed.
understand it. It don't make no sense. We all in our own lane. So let's just
Yeah,
don't we get to the same page. I'm
I,
sorry. Go
I,
ahead.
I interviewed. I interviewed Barry Gordy and Smokey Robinson both together, and
Mm.
they created coalitions back, way back, and they were like getting together to do what we're trying to do today. But how do you protect yourself from whoever is against that? And I'm talking about the government because they said the FBI was spying on them and all. How do you stop like entities to stop your black movement? Like how do you protect yourself? Like
I
there's
think
some black people that don't even want to get together, and if they get too big, you probably would die. You probably get killed off of that shit. So how do you
Mm.
protect yourself with that?
I
And I'm
think
in the
what we're
entertainment
dealing
business.
with is multi-layered. I'm hearing what number two is saying, but initially we need to change our thought process around the way
Conditioning,
we speak
recondition.
about one
Mm-hmm.
another, the way we speak
Yeah.
about our own community. You can't immediately assume your community is going
I'll
to
be right back.
support you.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Right.
Mm.
You can't
Yeah.
immediately believe your community is going to support you the least. Like that's here. You have to go out there and still
Do it.
assume the positive, because
Yeah.
that's what you're ultimately going to attract. Now, there are things like what DJ Wu Kid is saying that are going to be against us that we're not going to be able to control. The hip hop police do exist. They are an actual entity. They do monitor hip hop artists and associated acts. I mean, that is a thing. It's always going to be a thing. But how we speak about one another, how we speak about our own community, that's the
Right.
impact we're going to receive. We can sit here all day and say, well, we don't do what the Jewish community does. I am first generation United States. My parents were born in Liberia, West Africa. I should have been a rice farmer. I don't speak those things over my life. I am a professional. I'm an artist. Music saved my life. Like there's so many
Yes,
multi-layered
ma'am.
issues we're dealing
Yes,
with. We just have to figure out what are actionable items. Like everything's not actionable. We're not going to be able to change everything, but figure out
no.
what our action items are and then organize and attack them.
I
And
agree with you. I
to
agree with you.
DJ Who Kid's point, like, well, he's asking, how can you protect yourself? And I think the way to protect yourself is ownership. I know people
Hmm.
say that a lot. Everyone says it a lot. Everyone says like, oh, you got to own your own. You got to own your own. You need to own your
Hmm.
masters. You need to. But to
Yeah.
be honest, when we look at the artists who do own their own, they're in a completely different situation than those who do not. So I think as Black people, we need to be a little bit more ahead of the curve when we first enter an industry
Mm-hmm.
and figure
Yeah.
out as
Already
soon
had.
as possible how we can be owners from the beginning. From the
Yeah.
beginning.
Well, we
I can
need
even
more
start
people
off
that
with
are
that.
reaching back, supporting those. So, like,
There we go.
um,
There we
Yeah.
go.
so
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
mother said,
Showing,
charity begins
showing
at
you,
home and spreads abroad. And the
showing
thing
you.
is, at home, we have to teach our children at a young age that when your black classmate winning, you're
Mm.
winning.
You're
Like
winning
when
Exactly.
too.
they're
Yes.
when they're
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
recognized, that's us
You're getting
getting recognized
recognized.
because they're
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
creating more space and opportunities for us. So Tamar's mentioned that it's only that one or two spots. We need more people that we understand that when my brother in box seven wins, box
Yeah.
six, three, four, every other box is reflected upon
We
them.
all
So we
win.
have to start
Right.
there. And
We
then
all
once
win.
box one makes it, Box 1's responsibility is to reach over to Box 2. Box 2's responsibility is to reach over to Box 3, 4, 5, and so on.
Everybody.
But in our community, we don't think that way. And that shit started in slavery. They knew early on how to get us against each other. They put some of us in the house while the rest of us was in the field. So
Come on.
they knew early on how to get, and we're trying to break that pattern that's been buried in us for centuries at this point. So it's gonna take a lot of work. It's not gonna be my nephews to do it. Ain't gonna be my kids to do it. It's gonna be their children and their children. But it starts today with us here on that panel and those that are in the comments.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Because
it's kind of messed up that black people know about what other races are doing more than their own race.
More than their
Come on now.
Yeah, you see Chinese people come here, they make money, they go back to China. Indians, everybody, Mexicans,
you're right.
They come here, make money, go back to
and
the
they go back
country.
home.
Yeah, but we're the only ones that's worrying. We know more about what they're doing. Even the Jewish community, they always hate on the Jews or whatever, but they don't promote unity. They just do unity. They don't promote it where we have to get together. They do it. And that's what we got to do. We just got to do
That's
it.
what I'm talking about. Action items. What are the action items? Like we can talk till we're blue in the face, but like what's
the agenda?
What action are you taking? What actions are you taking?
And it doesn't have to be like one grand gesture. It doesn't have to be a huge grand gesture. What are you doing as an individual? I can speak on DJ Who Kid because he's sitting right next to me. I have an open mic. DJ Who Kid came to my open mic. He don't know me from Adam. He just knew she's on this platform. I'm on this platform. She does something that I could be influential in. And he came and he sat and he shared exclusive music and he talked about artists that people were interested in. And he sold into me with his presence. And that was it. I ain't never ran down. He ain't asked me for a bean. He ain't say drop a dragon on me before I come to your panel. He pulled up. So like it doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It can be something as simple as showing somebody something you learned.
Support is easy, man. Support is
that's what and that's what we need.
100%.
I don't understand that.
Free.
I don't understand why people feel like, you know what I'm saying, me giving you something is me taking me out the game. No, you giving somebody something is putting you in the game, because when you start losing yours, they're gonna be like, man, he helped me out, man. I remember that time, man. Look at me now. Hey man, come on in here, man. Let me help you out. So it's like I don't understand the crab in the bucket mentality. I really don't. People always tell me you stupid for giving somebody some game. Why? Shoot, I was. It took me to get where I'm at. I can help somebody else out and get somebody quicker.
Yeah. I'm so grateful.
You know what it is?
I'm so grateful that my parents raised me the way they did. Because even within this app, I bring opportunities. Just on Monday, I helped someone get a contract with a major makeup company as a key artist and signed with the agency.
I was there, O'Neal.
Because I want to see my brothers and sisters survive. And that's what it's about. It's about me reaching my hand out, supporting. I did a PR marketing workshop in this app last September, free of charge. I didn't ask for a shield, a dragon, or nothing, just because I see people building their brands and they don't understand what it's like to be famous outside of BIGO. I mean, it's fabulous to be on a panel and Kiki and having a dragon, but who knows you in your community? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing outside of this amazing app?
Let me say this.
Supporting each other.
Let me say this. Your event, O'Neal, for the makeup artist was so uplifting. Like I cried listening.
Can they hear you now? Can you hear?
No.
They can hear you.
See, now this is what we're talking about when black people do too much.
Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. It's my fault. It's my fault.
I just had to give a shout out to the powers that be. Shout out to BIGO and this amazing platform that they've given us tonight. The Black History month panel. Shout out to everybody who joined us tonight. It's such an amazing opportunity to talk about us as a people and be proud of who we are and talk about not just our problems, but solutions. How about that? And what are you giving me, baby?
Gabe, Corbin, Jennifer. Those are the people that made this happen.
Oh, yes. Shout out to y'all. Gabe, Corbin, and Jennifer. I love you guys so much. And this is such an amazing, amazing, important topic to us because, we talked about so many things. We talked about mental health. We talked about the struggles that we have in show business. And I just like to kind of pivot a little bit and talk a little bit about what can we do to change the stigma that we have, not just in Hollywood and not just with mental health, but also in Black social justice, and movements like Black Lives Matter, and what our support and our marks and the people that we are with these platforms can do to draw awareness to the importance of these amazing, amazing social justice movements. I just wanted to ask, do you think that we are doing all we can do to help our people? Or are we doing this to say we are a part of a cause? Because, I mean, when the whole Black Lives Matter movement came out right after the pandemic last summer, I was here for it. Y'all know I'm here for the people. Okay. But at the end of the day, when we call them on them, when we were just talking, especially with O'Neill about the reality business and television business and how hard it is for us to keep our seats at the table and be respected at the same time. What can we do in these social justice movements to help us in these issues that we have so we can elevate, so we do have the same opportunities as all the other races that we just talked about? I just want anybody to jump in. Can y'all mute the people, please?
Yes, I will.
Really quickly, Tamar. This has been great. I have an impossible star this evening. O'Neill, again, shout out to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for providing this platform tonight. Tamar, I would love a follow back. If I don't get one, I understand.
I thought I just followed you back. Of course I
I'm
followed
going
you. You're
to be doing
amazing.
the
You're
same.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your gift.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shout out to the panel.
Thank you.
I followed everyone. Thank you again. CEO Teddy is in the queue. You should bring him up.
Okay, guys, I'm going to be leaving as well because I want to include, I don't want to be just the only voice. I feel like there's so many other Black voices inside of the queue that need to come up and share their opinions as well. So I'm going to leave. Tamar, everybody on the panel, I follow everybody.
Me
It'll be great
too.
too, Tamar, if I can get a follow back. But
He's a little slow, but he's following everybody back. Thank
okay,
you.
awesome.
Same here,
Thank you for
Tamar. Thank
joining
you so
us.
much for
Such an
creating this
amazing,
space.
poignant
Thank
panel.
you.
But O'Neill,
Yes.
I want to talk specifically
Okay.
to you
Bye,
right now.
guys. Bye,
What do
everybody.
you think these social justice movements? How do you think they can help us in these rooms where we have absolutely no protection?
So I will say that with the Black Lives Matter movement right now, Black is the new Black. I mean, it's hot to be Black. I mean, everybody wants to do something with us. So jump on that bandwagon. I'm all for it. Like, get your bags, secure your bags. But I do think that when it comes to social justice, one thing it is doing, because I feel like there's a silver lining with everything, and God has a plan. And
Yes,
I
it does.
think what it is doing is it's forcing us all to come together. We need to
Yes.
see more togetherness. Unfortunately, it's because of that. But I am seeing us support each other. I am seeing us a sense of brotherhood, similar to when Barack Obama won. You know, like we all came together then and rallied behind him and supported him. And we have to see more of that. So I think as we see more of that, what's happening is they are gradually opening up more seats at the table. And my advice to you are, if you are invited to that table, it's your responsibility to reach back and get somebody else's hand and trust that that amazing karmatic energy will come back to you and keep opening doors for you. Because when you
Absolutely.
win, my brothers and sisters, I win. And we win together.
As
That's
far as
right.
the social justice piece from my end, I can only speak for myself and the things that I've been able to experience. So I have, previous to Black Lives Matter, I have participated in different marches. I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta. We march every year, on Martin Luther King's birthday, and you want it to be more impactful. I participated in Black Lives Matters marches, and conversely, I've also attended a Trump rally because I think it's really important that you educate yourself from all sides. So I
So,
I'm
Cindy,
I'm
I'm
just
not
sorry to
glad
cut
you
you
got
off.
out
What
fond
was
of his
that
alive.
Trump rally?
politics.
What was that
Um,
Trump rally like? What did you learn and
It
what
was
did you
scary.
think about
I'm
the
not
message?
gonna lie. It was definitely scary. I went alone. They
Wow.
say when you come in, if you see any Black Lives Matter, just start chanting where you are. Trump, 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 and we'll send security right over. There were different like older Black women like telling me, baby, come here, come, come stand by me. Uh, I wasn't
Wow.
comfortable because I felt like I would be removed if I was around any other Black people. I really just wanted to hear the rhetoric from myself. I implore everybody to make sure they educate themselves from both sides, because if you're just listening to what is being told to you, it's likely that you'll be misinformed. So that's all I
So
have
what?
on the
So,
social
Cindy, I'm so
justice.
sorry. Because I have several questions about this Trump rally. What did you learn? No, and I'm not knocking her for going. I'm actually applauding you for going. That takes a tremendous amount of strength and
Stand by
courage.
yourself.
Uh, and to want to educate yourself, and especially in the danger zone. What did you learn the most about being there?
I learned his demographic. I learned the people that are most susceptible to the things that he said. I saw a lot of young
Wow.
white men, adolescents,
Yeah.
people that were looking for something to believe in.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
saw, older people bringing their children, like even the people that were in the press, like the Black members of the press. I felt their tension. It was more, I'm a people watcher. It was
Yeah.
more of an observation thing for me, but it was definitely scary. Like I said, Black Lives Matter was out front. They were protesting. I am from a racist city. The KKK was founded in the state where I'm from. They march on the Capitol every year. So I thought it was important to see for myself. And I knew I
Yeah.
wasn't going to agree, but I didn't want to go in with a preconceived notion. And it ended up being exactly what I thought it was. A lot of
Exactly. I bet.
narrow-minded people looking
Mm.
for,
A
a
reason.
way to unify.
Wow. Yeah, cheers for you for going. Like that's bravery, courage,
Very
and I'm just
brave.
happy you're able to sit
Real
in
good.
box eight with us tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
By yourself,
because I'd have been
you
scared.
you a
So let
bad.
me ask you a question, Fendi.
Scared than a bitch.
I'm so sorry to keep pointing the finger at you, but I'm just really interested. So what difference did you see in the Trump rally and the Black Lives Matter marching movement?
So around the time I went, there was a lot of say her name protests for the women that were being murdered. The say my name, it you could feel it. You know what I mean? We're saying the names of people who are no longer with us. They've been taken. They weren't doing anything wrong. I feel like with the say her name movements and like the Black Lives Matter marches, there wasn't a particular target. It was more about informing. With the Trump rally, of course they wanted to gain that votership. So I don't want to be biased because I'm, like I said, I'm not a fan of his politics, but it was definitely interesting. Scary.
I don't think none of us are, but I was just curious to know. And the reason why I asked you this was because I wanted to know about the unity. Was the unity the same? And I asked you that because us as a people, we have like we already said we have a hard time unifying and consistently unifying. And I just wanted to know when you went to the Trump rally, was that the temperature in the air? Unity.
It it was that was what they were running with. But I don't know. Like I said, I was
Or did it
fearful.
make
Like I
you
said,
feel
because I
like
was by
we were
myself.
missing something? Or did it make you feel like that we missed the mark? Because I'm not saying that we are Trumpers or we should do what they're doing, but I'm talking about when we're going out here and marching. We march for a short period of time, and we do it because it's cool, and we do it because our friends and neighbors are doing it, and it is
All
a
right.
sense of unity. But when we see these people, they really truly believe it, and as you said in your own words, you saw people who really truly wanted something to believe in, and I'm asking you because I want to know the parallel between the Trump rally and the Black Lives Matter. What did you see a difference in the unity? And do you understand my question? Does that make
I
sense?
do. So on the Black Lives Matter side, something I always say when I'm in those circles, beware of the person who mentions the word community the most. They are probably the
Mm.
one
Mm.
who is invested
Mm.
in it the least.
Yeah.
So like I just try to be observant on both sides. Like anytime somebody community, 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 then I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
watch how you move. You saying community, 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 but you charging your community more than you charge the university for your same talent, for your same gift. I got a
Yeah.
couple of people from that area in mind when I'm speaking because there are artists that lean toward that. Oh, I'm a social activist, and because of that, they're being booked by colleges, universities, to come speak, to come perform, to do their poetry, but it's not authentic.
They're not. Yeah,
And
they're
that
fake.
I'm with you on that, Fendi, because me, that that's my language. Been doing
Yeah.
active for so long. That's why the Black Lives Matter movement, I don't knock it, but I don't rock with it. And like you background,
Uh-oh.
feel like when it's time for we can march when it's a George Floyd, but when y'all killing trans women, ain't nobody marching. When
Right.
I'm not.
That
I'm not.
part.
when it's a trans when it's a trans man getting murdered, ain't nobody marching. And so if Black lives ain't matter, all Black lives, then Black lives don't matter. And that's how I feel. So when you talk about unity in the community, if we know every Black life, then why y'all marching? Y'all wasting my time. Y'all waste
Absolutely.
y'all waste
Absolutely, because the question is what happens after the march? Where do we go after the
We
march?
take
What is
action.
our role after the march?
We
Mm-hmm.
take action.
me. I feel like we need to, get in our own community and feel like, okay, listen, we gotta go back to the basics. It's not just one life. It's each one of our responsibility to teach that if his black life matter, my black life as a trans man matter, and her black life as a trans woman matter, and his black life as a gay man matter, and her black life as a lesbian matter, and your black life as
Yeah.
a woman matter. And until we get that concept together, we can't keep preaching. Let's go march over here yet, because we don't got it at home in our own
Come
backyard.
on, come on, come
Yep.
on.
That's the truth.
With my
It's
job,
true.
life coach,
That's the
that's what I
truth.
teach every day.
But that's the thing about, I
Out
mean, again, we're
Mhm.
brainwashed, and there's a pattern from slavery that we are separated within our community. They knew that's how it was supposed to win. And it's going to take voices like ourselves to repair that work. And it's not going to happen in one day. It ain't going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be consistent work that we're going to continue to do. Otherwise, we're going to
Gas
keep
guy,
having the
one
same
second.
dialogue in 3021.
Yep. And it's sad, but that's the paradigm. That's the thought process. Flying at capitals. I travel across the world. I do this, and I see it in different states. It's not. I'm in Dallas. I live here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
State. You know what I mean?
Hey,
But
Dallas.
the same. It's certain people that said when those Trumpsters, they about what they about, and they're gonna go out there and you can drive down 35 and go to Washington, and you're gonna see billboards right now
And
with
they
that.
are pressure. And they
They
are
Facts.
they
pressure.
fill up right now with that man
Yeah.
face on. It's not coming down.
But
Because
We
I
have
am
to
That's
about
that's
to
open.
my that's
depart.
my question. That's what I'm saying. What
I'm
would it
sorry. I didn't
what
mean
would
to
it
cut you
take
off.
for
Go
us?
ahead.
And that was my question initially, Fendi. Like, what would it take for us as a people to unite like that? That kind of
there has
that
to
kind of
be
togetherness.
there has to be someone willing to do the work and relinquish the credit. It's a two-part thing. You have to be willing to do the work and relinquish the credit. When you I read a lot I do a lot of read a lot of leadership books, and the main thing that stops people from arriving at the level that they want is because they can't not be acknowledged for something they've done. They need
Yep.
that credit. They need that credit. So we need a group of silent warriors that are saying, hey, I'll organize this. I'll strategize because we talk too much. So by the time we done, oh well, I'm doing this and I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna be that. They done figured out our whole plan and figured out how to debunk it.
And then they
They're-
want to
That's
get
you sound like the Black Messiah and Judas right now, because then they find
Thanks.
our own to bring us down. That's what happens
I
then.
also I also think it takes us realizing that, as you were saying, Coach Trent, Black people are not a monolith. We don't all look the same. We don't all do it the same. We're not all raised the same. We don't all even practice the same religion. And so I think
Amen.
in order for us to have true unity in these movements, like you're saying, Fendi, yes, somebody has to be willing to lead and say, I'm not going to take credit for this. I'm going to lead. But that
Yes.
leader also has to realize the faces in that crowd are going to be multifaceted. And we need a leader, and I don't think we have one yet, who's going to be willing to take up all of the arms,
exactly,
the
but
trans
healthy.
arms, the gay arms, the
Facts.
the Muslim arms, the weird black people arms, all every single kind of black person. And I don't think we have that yet. And I think that that is
But a
the
lot of us
that's
are
the
afraid to die
core.
about it. A lot of us are afraid to die about it. And that's what's
That's a
going
Yeah.
fact.
to happen. You're going to have to want to die about it. There are two people that are trying to come up. There's Gypsy and there's Sloan Bone, 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 Bone. So I'm going to make my departure. It was a pleasure meeting all of you, Tamar. It was a pleasure meeting you. I'm going to
Thank you
follow
so
the
much.
panel real quick and then I'm going to slide. Nice to meet y'all.
I'm gonna step down too, Tamar. Thank you so much for having me. This is
Yeah, me
incredible
too.
idea and just an important dialogue. And I'm so happy to see this positive side of BIGO that's beginning to take off because I feel whatever you put into this app, you get back. So for
Facts.
all of you that's putting this
Give back.
love,
Yes.
positivity, and energy, it will come back tenfold. So God bless all
Hi,
my brothers and
Gypsy.
sisters
Bye,
on this
Gypsy.
panel and
Yeah.
in this comments. Y'all just keep standing in that lightness and creating greatness. I followed
I
the whole
also,
panel. Please
God
follow.
bless
oh
you,
yeah,
Black Romeo.
Awesome.
I also have followed everybody. Tamar, thank you so much. Thank you to your team as well, because I know that admin spot is hot right now. People in these comments, baby. So
Right.
I just want to thank you, admin. I don't know your name, but thank you for what you're doing. Thank you, everybody in the panel. I appreciated this time with you, and y'all have a wonderful evening. I followed everybody.
Thank you
Y'all have a
guys.
great
Thank you
night.
guys so much for coming. It means so much to me. And shout out to Vigo for this amazing platform of such, an important conversation to our community and recognizing us as a people. We really honestly appreciate that. And thank you so much for calling on me to facilitate this because this is something that I truly and honestly believe in. I just wanted to know because we only have a short amount of time left in this panel and great discussion that is necessary. Did anybody want to ask any questions or raise a thought that you didn't have a chance to talk about yet?
How you doing, Tamar?
Hi.
Good.
I'm Blue
So
Money. I'm Blue Money from Maybach Music Black Bottle Boys, and I was selected to be on the panel.
Yes.
And for me, it's I have a problem with the Black Lives Matter because
Hmm.
why isn't the Black Lives Matter movement? Why aren't they at the schools? Why aren't they at the child support office? Why aren't they at the funeral homes? You see what I'm saying? And my other thing is, when are we as a people gonna start to care about us? You know what I
Amen.
mean? So the thing is, we could place the blame, we could blame all the time, but when are we gonna really take a look at
Do
ourselves
something about it. Yep.
and begin to do
yeah.
the work? You see what I'm saying?
Not.
Yes, I do.
So
Yeah.
for me, it's more so, you know, it's like we living in the 60s all over again. We gotta, create that image. You know, we gotta be forceful because in this time of day, the people so domiciled that they numb to everything. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
at the end of the day, when we begin to stand forward, when we begin to put our foot down, but it's how do we do that? Like everybody talk about Donald Trump, but let's look at the realness of it. The realness of it is we gotta get them judges and them senators that's been out about doing what they do for the last 40 years, 20 years, 30 years.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
then another thing is how we complaining Black Lives Matter when some of us as black individuals holding that sign done killed another black person.
Come on, somebody.
So like
See,
Right?
how serious are we taking this matter? You
No,
see what I'm
yeah.
saying?
True.
So
True.
when you look at music, I'm in the music industry. Like Rick Ross, that's my boss. Black Bottle Boys, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Maybach Music, salute the big homie. But
Nice.
he's doing something. You see what I'm saying? He's reaching back to grab the people that gave him, ambition to do what he does. But at the same time, he's paving the way for us that's coming behind him. And he's teaching us the business. That's doing something.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Not just talking, being about
Let me
it.
say something. Can I say
Yeah.
Exactly.
something?
You know what I
So
mean? See,
I kind of agree and disagree with kind of what he said. I agree that we do march and do a lot of protests in the movement, but the movement is a great cause because regardless of what people may say and think, like I tell the people when I was out on the front lines here in Washington D.C., I'm not my grandparents. You understand? Like our grandparents stepped to the side. We not stepping to the side.
Mhm.
You
That
understand? And
part.
I understand that yes, we have people in our neighborhoods getting killed, but it's the fact that we have people who are entrusted to protect and serve killing us and dehumanizing and desensitizing our lives. That's something totally
That
different
part.
than something going on in our neighborhood. That's something that has something to do with you protecting your community. But to somebody that is put on in place to serve and do something for you, and then they're doing the total opposite. That's like usually the biggest issue. And not only that, I understand what you say about the judges and things like that. Like me, I work for the Department of Homeland Security. You understand? I've been doing that for 7 years. It's the problem that we sit and we point our fingers, but a lot of us are not teaching our kids to go be a
It
lawyer, to
starts in the
go
home.
Yes.
be a judge.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We're still screaming "fuck the police" when we should actually be a police officer and teach our child how to protect us and how to protect the rest of our community. But
Exactly.
instead, that's not happening. And I heard you ask the question earlier, what if we would have done, we couldn't have done what they did back on January the 6th. There's no way in heck we could have done that. We couldn't even
Absolutely.
got that close. We would have all
Mm-mm.
Yes.
We
been
would
on
have
the
I'm in the
No.
tried.
ground.
DMV
It
area
would have
and
been a
I
bloody
understand
massacre.
that all so well.
Yeah, and
I was
I wish we could do
what?
that because we should be able to go hard
No,
like that.
there's no
We should
way.
be able.
Like,
You know what I'm saying? But
if
it's
we
not
had a
even
meeting
possible.
about it, we would be out of there.
Yeah,
and bro, I feel
Couldn't
your
even meet
pain.
about it.
I'm from Washington D.C. I'm from Hobart,
yeah.
Georgia Avenue. You know what I mean?
See, I'm
So
Southeast, Simple City.
that's what's up. So
Yeah, man.
I had to understand that you got to do the work. You feel what I'm saying?
Piece of
So
holic.
yes, sir. Piece of holic,
That's
and
what I work for. Yeah.
I'm with Alliance of Concerned Men,
Oh yeah.
Tyrone Parker and them. You see what I'm saying? So I realized that I had to do the work, bro. And from
Yes.
That's a
from
fact.
putting my from putting myself in service to the people, I done sat on many panels about this same topic. We help organize the last Million Man March.
Oh
Where
wow.
we're
Yeah.
doing things to be a part of the solution. But everything you said, I agree with 100%. But we
Yeah.
still got to go back to us, brother, because
Nobody's doing that. They
right, and
scared. The
Hey,
churches, they
hey,
scared to go in the community. They want
But
to
I
get left
had a
behind.
question
hey,
earlier, and the
Well, this
question
is a
still
Can
start
remains:
right
can
now. This
what
is
do
a
we
start
do?
now.
But what is behind the march? What do we do after the march? What can we do for our communities that you guys feel like that can stick to improve us uniting as a people?
they
honestly we
treated
have to I'm sorry. I just want to say this. Honestly, we have to mobilize in a way that we've never seen before. And
Black Wall Street.
you guys, yeah, we have to, you guys have to understand that a lot of things that happened in our past, we're still suffering from the Willie Lynch mentality. We still think like that. We are still killing ourselves with our thought process. So we have to change the whole game. We have to change the generational curse, that whatever you want to call it. We have to change everything. We have to, it goes down to the system. We're in a system that is systematically against us. And so,
Set
and
up.
then be behind that in ourselves. And I think you, Pop Jolo, you hit on it a little bit, is that our family, like I'm an entrepreneur. I owned my first business when I was 17 years old. I have two businesses right now, and I'm 34 years old. My mother taught me
Both my parents, they gave me Who Moved My Cheese, Robert Kiyosaki. They taught me those things. We're not teaching those things to our kids.
Facts.
We have to start having those conversations. We have to start, showing that we can do so much more than be a basketball player and a football player and a rapper. We have to do more than that. There are so many women out there there are so many women and men that are just we don't hear about their story. How many people know about Rebecca Crumbler, who was the first African American doctor? A lot of people don't know those stories. We have to look at our history and take that history and see where we can go. We have to observe where we have been to know where we need to go.
But speaking of history, though, don't y'all really know who y'all first black president was? Since we speaking of black history.
Yes, John Henson.
No.
1782, 1783. Yes, it is. He the one formed legislature.
Those two different John Hansons. Two different John Hansons.
John Henson. Before everything was ratified.
This the whole catch about it, and this the part that messed people up. See, I'm from Memphis, and I did a whole lot of research, and so now where I'm at, it's like we've been brainwashed so much now to it's like where we at now, we so behind to it's no catching up. And the reason why I say that, I'm going to show you where everybody mentality at on this counter. Watch this. No, we can't. Watch this right here. Everybody tell me what's 1 plus 1 on this counter.
No, Rick.
I
know. How? Listen. 1 plus 1. That means we adding. If one man and one woman come together and have a baby, what's that? You see what I'm saying? When a dog have babies, how many do they have? See, 1 plus 1 don't equals 2 only when it's 2 men or 2 women. You cannot reproduce. If you reproducing, that means we are adding 2. See, we've been stuck, and that's what I'm just saying, just that little key piece of information. So I do have to tell my kids both sides of it. This the side they're going to get you a paper on the wall saying that you didn't made it so far in life, but this side right here is what reality is. We don't tell what reality is because we so far gone on what was brought and what was installed in us from day one.
And again, I call that, everybody knows the story about Willie Lynch, right? We don't have to go into that. We all know what Willie Lynch did and what it was about. I call that a Willie Lynch mentality. We are still stuck in that mindset. We still think that, when he came in there, in order to break us down, he took the black men and he made them into something that you couldn't do anything with. I mean, he took them away from the families. So we still have that thought process. We still have broken homes. We have to look at that. Our broken homes comes from that Willie Lynch mentality. And then let's not even get into when we got aid. When aid came about, you could not have a grown man in your house. So in order for you to get state aid when you were already underpaid, you were underpaid as it is. So in order for you to get your state aid, they would come into your house to make sure you didn't have a grown man. My old aunt and uncles went through that. And one of my cousins had big feet. And they were like, hey, listen, that's not a grown man. That's my child. But they wouldn't even give you aid if you had a grown man. So then they took black men out of the homes and they'd be like, hey, you go stay over here, do this, do that. Because they needed that help. We needed that help. So, I mean, we're still, mentality-wise, we are still stuck in a traumatized state, you guys. We have gone through so much trauma in our past that we never were able to heal from it. So we are still in a traumatized state. We never recovered.
Still in recovery.
And so we have to, I was supposed to be here for the mental health panel. I'm actually really big on mental health.
It's all good.
Right.
That's fine.
We need that. It's always need that mental health.
Well, actually, the bottom line is black people don't trust each other. Facts.
All the facts.
That's it. At the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, y'all might not, y'all know who I am. Sloan Bone. I represent Mo Thugs, Bone Thugs, and Harmony Grammy Award artists. Y'all know what time it is. I respect everybody on here. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna say we just don't trust each other. And until that happens, ain't whatever we talking about, they ain't gonna never work.
It's a
So let me
mentality
ask you a
thing.
question.
Well, we
Ron,
gotta continue to try
why do
though.
you think
We
we
can't give
don't
up.
trust each other as a
But a
community? Why do
lot.
you think that we can't? Why do you think that we can't depend on each other to trust each other enough? Why do you think that?
See,
We
it's
were taught
been
and bred that.
It's
That
See,
goes
that
syndicate
back
probably
to
goes back
We
to
were taught
slavery.
It's
that.
so
That
it's
probably
so
goes back to
subconsciously
slavery.
it's so
that does.
subconsciously taught to us
Hmm.
not to trust each other that we don't even know we really don't trust each other like that. So
Probably
we just sitting here just
So
we just don't think we just be like, oh man, that's my boy, that's my boy, that's my ain't your boy. Because that's your boy, but you don't trust him, no.
But
You
do
know what I
you
mean?
trust
yeah,
them with your
yeah.
life
You
though?
trust him with your life? No. You trust him with $2? No. Would you let your boy borrow $20 tomorrow? No. Would you split your last $10 with your people? No. Why? Because you don't trust you're gonna get it back.
But
and that's
this the
kind of
whole
Look,
going
thing
back
though.
to
look,
that's
and
going back to what the
But you got
sister
to
was
start
saying.
somewhere. So
Yeah,
I'm a work in progress with
But it
that.
yeah.
definitely got to start at
I
home
mean, we
because
all
we're
is
sending our
though.
kids to school.
Yeah. Ain't nobody
Ain't
And
no
they
perfect.
one
teaching our
person that's
kids that
not.
Christopher
Yeah.
Columbus found the U.S. They still teaching our kids that Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, and we're
Facts.
not fixing that. And then during Black History Month, they want to teach that slavery and that we were always oppressed and always second best.
Right.
When they won't teach you that
hmm
the richest man to ever be in the world was in Africa. They won't tell you
Right.
about the man Mansu.
Yeah.
They won't tell you about him. They won't tell you that he was worth $400 billion and he was
Right.
black. They won't tell you that.
They
They'll
not
teach you
nah.
teach you
That's where
everything
we
that
come in
makes you
though,
feel less than. And that's why we have to bring this into our homes and stop
Yes, we do.
allowing the outside to
to teach.
curve
To
and
teach
mold
to teach.
our
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
They
we
still
have
And
think
yeah,
to.
about it. We go
So
to school in the morning, 9 in the morning until to 3 in the afternoon. They teach you to be on a schedule so that you can already systematically be programmed to do things that way. They don't have
Right.
vocational programs in school no more,
Right.
like plumbing, electrician, the beauty
Exactly.
stuff, the stuff where people can be innovative and think for themselves and do it on their own. They
but
put you in
guess
this
what
place
though,
to make you
bro?
think you got to be in debt to them for life going to college.
Yeah.
Guess
You,
what
you're
And
We
not
though?
need
and the,
to.
and the
built to
cold
think
This
thing
of
one
about
all
anything.
thing.
the
of the
cold thing
This
trauma.
one
about
thing.
college is they
This one
want you to
thing
So
I
go
I
to
ain't hear.
college to get higher learning, right?
Hmm.
But how many people can afford? Our people can afford $50,000 a year.
Well,
Where
but
we
Facts.
check
get
this
that
out.
from? And
Well,
live at the
unless they're
it's,
same
going
time.
off a scholarship
This
or
one thing
something
I
of
ain't
that
hear
but
though.
nature.
this
This one thing I ain't hear though, y'all. You feel what I'm saying? All that I agree with all of it. But at the end of the day, guess what? When you got that man upstairs on your side, it's nothing you can't do. You feel
That
me?
Oh, that's
part.
a
right,
fact. That's a
right.
fact. That's a
If he
fact.
I'm a
with you,
But
believer. I'm
who can
definitely a
but
be
that
believer.
against
brings
you?
me to my next question. After all the trauma and all of the hurt, how do we
Marlon,
heal
appreciate that.
as a people?
The
How do
best
we
way,
start the healing process
first you
you
gotta
got
learn
everything
I
start.
yourself.
feel like we need to talk about it. Talking,
Yes, we do.
getting it off your chest, getting it off your
to
mental, I
Yes,
think
we
is a
do.
start.
And it
And
starts
this
in
Yeah.
our home. It starts in our home, and it also starts with our mental health, like healing ourselves mentally. We have to approach that. We really need to look at the trauma that we have endured and the trauma that we go through every single day, you guys. When it comes down to it, discrimination and racism and things like that, it's like when it comes to Black people, we can't change the color of our skin. So
No, we
we're
can't.
enduring, we can't change this, and other people, they can do what they need to do, but we are black and we should be proud of that. And in order for
Embrace.
us, we should embrace it. And in order for us to move on, we have to look at, I think it starts with the mental health. Look at, try
it
and
absolutely
change
does.
how we think mentally. And
I agree.
Yeah,
so
it's a
once we start doing that,
that
then we
biggest
can
piece.
work on it in home.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
neat.
it's
That's
a
So
neat.
basically, what you're saying, like the biggest piece that a lot of people haven't said yet, that we're missing in this thing is love. That's the
Yeah.
Yes.
There
biggest
you
thing
go.
it's
that
getting
to teach you to love yourself, love your family,
Yeah.
love your skin, love what you see in the
That
mirror.
part.
Like I wake up every day and I tell my friends this all the time. I say this and they laugh. I wake up every day with sleepies in my eyes, my breath stinking. I say, "You're beautiful, you're intelligent." I let myself
Yes.
know who I am before I
happy.
go outside to get validation from somebody
Right.
else who's
Right.
willing to put me down. Because first of all, I'm black and I'm a man at that. So you already know the odds is already against us.
Right.
Facts.
So to
Stacked up
already know
against
And
that
you,
you have to build
obstacles.
Yeah.
yourself up. And it's not being
You
Let's
can be
just
your
cocky or
say
own best
anything, but giving
cheerleader. We are
yourself
our own
doing that.
best cheerleader.
yes. And I feel like when we love ourselves, that self hate that we have, because we got a lot of self hate, y'all. We have a lot of self hate
Absolutely.
because the world, society tells us that we're not beautiful. I like to think that I'm a beautiful
The
young woman,
hair.
but I can remember a story where I was exercising in a gym, and I was next to this young man, kept saying hi to him for a week. He never said anything to me. Usually I have my hair in an afro. Sometimes y'all see me with an afro. I had an afro during that time. And then the next week later, I went and I pressed my hair.
Go
I had
figure.
my contacts on. Next thing you know, he was like, "Hey, how are you?" And he was a black man. And he was like,
Huh.
"Hey, how are you? How are you doing? What's your name?" And I'm like, "I've been exercising next to you for a week, for over a week."
Wow.
And
And
so
you
we
didn't even
still have,
notice.
yeah, you didn't even notice. So we still have that self hate that we need to fix. And
And
so
that's the
when
thing.
when we take a step back and we fix ourselves mentally and we look at that self hate and we heal that and we come together because we have no unity. That's why we are not thriving as
Woo,
well as we should
girl,
be
you better
thriving
see
because we do not have the unity that we should
At all.
have. When you go, and I like to look at, I travel a lot. That's one of my big things. I travel a lot. I'm trying to hit 100 countries. I like traveling, going, looking at different cultures and how they embrace their family and the cultures around them. And
Awesome.
when you think about it, Asian families, they will go and live in a house together, start two businesses, get all the money that they need, and then somebody go
Hispanics
out and they buy a house
too.
cash. Hispanics will do that too. And so everybody will do that but us. We will go and spend $450 on a Gucci t-shirt, but won't go to the store next door that's black owned and spend $50 on a t-shirt. Come on, man.
So
Come
Jiffy,
on.
do
but
you think that
Don't
our
make no
hurt
sense.
is
can
associated with our
they
the lack of unity?
Yes, I
Forgiveness.
do. I think it's both. I think that if you think about it, if you don't have anybody that's standing by your side saying I'm going to help you and I'm going to be there with
Marlon?
you, on, how are you going to
Yes,
feel?
facts.
You need that support. Everybody on this panel, we all know we got to where we are with
People
support,
need
right?
people.
Yeah,
People need
We need
definitely.
people.
You
people.
gotta have
Unity,
support.
but it's
But
Okay,
also
you ain't in this world alone.
mi-
it's
mind
about
you, if you
people.
you can have all the support in the world. You can have all the support in the world, and I want to come just as a community member as well as a businesswoman that have two businesses, and I'm also an author. So I have a
Awesome.
501c3 and I have an LLC, which is for Modern Day Woman, and basically that's the name of my book, The Modern Day Woman. And what I do with the Modern Day Foundation is to look out for Black and Brown women who have been silenced. And when we talk about this has start from the home and this has start from ourselves. If we start pouring love into ourselves, that's the only way we can pour love into others. And when we talk
Yes.
about trauma, it's our own trauma that we
Yes.
set ourselves back and say that we couldn't, although we heard it from another person say we couldn't, we shouldn't, we would never, we emulate that and we hold on to that and we embrace that within ourselves and say, okay, that's really me. I can't, I wouldn't, I shouldn't. But if you step out on faith on a lot of things,
Hmm.
obviously you can. So, mind you, I am an anatomical post-op trans woman from New York City. I came from Barbados. I came from the Caribbean where I had to fight all my life like Oprah. So basically, I had when I leave home, I had to fight for my life. When I get on the school bus, I had to
Color
fight for
purple.
my life. When I got into school, I had to fight for my life. When I in school, I had to fight for myself. And when I get back out of school, I had to fight for my life. Why I say that is that we all say Black Lives Matter, but nobody is screaming Black Trans Lives Matter. And what gets me so passionate about listening to this for the last hour is that
All
everybody is
lives in
saying
that
Black
matter.
Lives
All
Matter,
lives
but
matter.
nobody is saying all Black Lives Matter. Folks are saying
Yes.
Black Lives Matter, but guess who's
That
killing a lot of us? Our own Black people are also killing a lot of us. A lot of our Black people are robbing from us. A lot of our Black people are lying on us. A lot of the Black people are raping our kids. I have an 11-year-old child back there, and every day I sit here remotely because of this COVID nonsense. I'm basically sitting here to bust my tail and hustle so that my Black child don't endure the rape, the domestic violence, all the hurt and the pain that I have suffered growing up so that my child would not endure that. Mind you, I cannot protect her all the days of my life because there would be somebody that would step in to distract her. However, when we talk about trauma, like you said, you talk about trauma about yourself. So basically, I have been in healing moments and continue to heal because I want to heal so that I can heal others and show others the process of healing or guide them, mind you, not not tell them they need to heal, but guide them. Because sometimes people roll a blunt and smoke a blunt, but
Bubbles.
nobody asks them, why are you so high? Nobody asks them, why did you roll
Yes.
that blunt up?
Come
Everybody
on.
says, you
Thank
are
you for
rolling
that.
that blunt up because you
Thank
want to
you
get
for having.
high.
Oh my
Nobody
God.
asks you,
Yes.
are you depressed? Are you emotional disturbed?
Yes.
What happened? Were you raped? Were you robbed?
Ego.
Nobody is asking the
Yes.
embrace questions about nothing, but everybody is saying Black Lives Matter. Where does Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter when you put yourself as an individual and understand that if you can fight all the days of your life, and then I come to North America, right? I come to North America like I am Captain Savior Hall. And when I got here, I was
Ah,
put in the street. For 30 days, I became homeless, right? Mind you, I am black. I
yeah.
become homeless, was put out in the street by my black
Come on.
family. I turned out to be a prostitute, right? I was a prostitute.
Hmm.
I was a drug addict. I was back and forward, reversed in jail, incarceration. However, that does not, my past helped me to build my own
Your past
foundation
is not
and
your
make sure that
potential.
other people does not
Mhm.
repeat the same thing that I have done. Mind you,
Look
homelessness,
at you now, baby.
prostitution,
Look at
and
you now.
all of these things have brought me to a level. Am I cured? Am I healed? No, not yet, baby. Because trauma was instilled in me
Work
from
in
the time I was
progress.
pushed out of the womb.
Absolutely.
My
Yes.
Work
mom
in
endured
progress.
trauma. My mom was told that if you don't love me, I will kick you out. You need to be pregnant with 8 children and I'm putting you on the street. My dad told me I will kill you if you touch me. You understand those kind of things? Let me tell you something. I want, and this is from a mental health part because when I work with adults and children, I work from an Article 32, 31F from the HIPAA regulation, and I
Mhm,
work from an Article 28F from.
mhm.
So I'm dealing with adolescents and adults, right? And I'm dealing with trans men and trans women and those individuals in between that's gender non-conforming and non-binary, right? We are black folks, and we are telling you, like, don't just say Black Lives Matter. Say all lives matter because my life matter. If I could
You ain't
turn up
never
for
lied.
you
All
when your
minds
black
do.
brother or black sister get murdered, turn up for the black trans person that gets murdered, turn up for that black trans mother that get beat down. So when I
Yes,
sit
ma'am.
here and I come here and I see them, I love them, but when I see my other black brothers and other black sisters, people that I've met on BIGO, and you're telling me that okay, Black Lives Matter and this is that. How you know that I didn't roll over blunt? How you know that I wasn't incarcerated? How you know that I didn't have a felony? How you know those things? You know why you don't know those things? Because when I say trans, you say prostitute, right? When I say trans, you say, oh, she ain't got no education. How did I own 2 businesses? How was I an author? I'm a 3-time author. How am I able to do that and come to North America from a Caribbean country that pushed me out in North America? Mind you, I got to North America and still endure the discrimination,
That's what's up.
And the
oppression.
answer is, you said, how did I do that?
Transformation.
You're not a victim of your circumstance. And
That
you
Thank you
said
part.
so
so
much.
many,
Your past
Thank
is
you
not your
so
yes,
much.
you said
potential.
so many gems in what you were saying. And I think the main one here, we're running out of time, but the main one here for me is when you said, um, just because we have trauma doesn't mean we don't do the work. You have to want to heal yourself first, and then you can heal other people. You can help heal other people. But if you are not healed, please don't come up here giving advice and trying to show people this, that, and the other, because you're not doing nothing. You're not. You're only you're only creating a trauma buddy. Okay, you're not creating a safe environment for somebody to heal out loud, which will heal each other as people. And I just wanted to say, before we go, guys, big, huge shout out to BIGO for just opening up this forum and knowing that these conversations needed to be had on this amazing Black History Month panel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're so gracious for recognizing us. And it starts with these little things right here. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's Black History Month conversation. I know I have. I'm so grateful that BIGO asked me to be a part of this. And I would love to stay connected with you all and keep all of these conversations going. And if you want to, please follow me at Tamara Braxton. And if you enjoyed this conversation, you'll definitely love my podcast called Under Construction. Every single topic that we discussed tonight, we discuss on my podcast. This is not a plug. You know, I just want everybody to get an opportunity. If you don't know how to heal out loud, it starts with us and the individual that you see in the mirror. And guys, listen, let's keep this conversation going because it's Black History Month, right? We only got a couple more days and it's coming to a close. And this conversation is so much important to us. And I just, again, want to give a shout out to Gabe and Jennifer and Milborn at BIGO and everyone here who has joined this amazing Black History panel tonight. You guys are amazing. And, you know, listen, it really does start with us as a people. And if we don't love each other, no one else will love us. So I just, encourage you all to move in your light, move in your purpose, and learn to forgive. Forgive yourself, and also forgive, things that has been done to us as a community, so we can move on and heal properly. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic night. I'm coming to you guys from Dallas, Texas tonight, but I love you so much. Good night, guys. Each one teach one, love one.